now we're live. We are live, people.
Here we
are
go.
Live. Look at that.
That's right. All right. Awesome.
It's Wednesday, my dudes.
It is. It's a great Wednesday. It's a really great Wednesday. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, really great. I was sitting at a table all day, which is fun stuff. Fun stuff. What were you guys? What were you guys doing today?
I was at work.
Yeah, I didn't sit at a table. I worked.
I went to work because I was sick yesterday. And I had to go back to work today. So yeah, that's where that happened.
Yeah, don't envy that. Was I sick last week or was the weekend before? It was something like that. Where it was like I feel like everybody at the same time got like a cold all of a sudden.
Oh God, it was like that for me at work last week. Holy shit.
Yeah. So it was very much like that for me this last week, and it's just like, and I had to commentate a bunch of games, and I sounded all super nasally, and it was ridiculous. But
I had snot coming out of my nose. It was not pretty. Even last week on the show, I was like sniffling a bunch.
Ew,
it was
gross.
Bad. It was gross. It was disgusting.
No! It's just dumb.
Of course you did that, Ryan. Of course you did that, Ryan.
Yeah.
I'm looking down and I just see you like.
Yeah, I'm just waiting. I was like, I gotta time it.
Oh my gosh.
Well done.
Indeed. You got it timed well. What's up, everybody?
What's up, guys?
Howdy.
Episode 167. Dune Part 2, a masterpiece?
Why'd you add a question mark to that?
Did he?
I don't know.
I wasn't even paying that much
I haven't
attention.
seen the movie, so I couldn't tell you if it is.
Oh, you still haven't seen it?
He has not.
I've seen the first one. I've seen the first one.
Streaming. He is waiting for Dune Part 2.
Gotcha. Okay.
Good for you.
Yeah, that's such a shame, man.
I still haven't seen. There's a lot I haven't. I still haven't seen Madam Web.
I still haven't seen Madam Web either.
I still haven't seen Aquaman 2.
Same.
What else is there that's out there that I haven't seen?
I've seen both of those movies. Take a guess at which one I'd watch over the other. Take a guess.
I'm assuming Aquaman 2.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right.
But Andre told me I have to see Madam Web because of just the way that I look at movies. So yeah, I'm gonna see it. But
okay.
I feel like you would die.
Did we talk about? Did I talk about it? Did Andre and I talk about it last week? I don't.
Yes, you guys
did. Yeah,
went into it a little bit. Yeah,
and I think we told you like check it out at your own discretion. Something that
he told me I need to watch it because he just wants to get he wants to hear what I have to say about it.
No, I think Andre wants to hear you just laugh your head off and just like die internally. I think that's what he wants. Because I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. Because like the next week you just come in and like not be able to stop.
What I've heard is like Sony needs to just give it up. Like
you know how Morbius is just kind of a movie that came and went.
Dude, Craven is not looking good.
Dude, I don't know. Craven's because they know they've got something with Venom 3. At the very least, they know at least some people are going to.
Some people will watch it.
Some people will watch it because there's built-in fans from the first movie and even I would say even the second movie to a lesser extent. But I feel like Tom Hardy, he's the draw there, and that character for whatever reason is just the way character in that context of that film is just popular. So yeah, they're banking that people are going to see Venom. Craven is in. I'm not going to say it's the make or break for Sony, but I just certainly hope that after Madam Web, they don't tinker with that shit in the editing room.
Quicksilver, aka Kick-Ass, is not going to put butts in seats.
Well, here's the thing: is like I don't know if they even really care because I mean, obviously they want to make a profit, but at the same time, like I have a strong suspicion that Madam Web is just simply the 2024 version of the '90s Fantastic Four movie. Where they just made it to retain the rights to the character.
Yes. I was going to make that point. So yeah, no, I think that's why they do it. That's why they made Superman Returns, to retain the rights.
Well, and that's why they brought in Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney, because they know there are people out there who will see anything they're in because they're physically attractive, and so they'll go and swoon over them and pay the money. And it didn't quite work to the extent they hoped.
No, I don't think so.
And even Sydney Sweeney was on SNL, and she's like, "You saw me in Euphoria. You saw me in what's that fucking movie she's in with Glenn Powell? That rom-com. Yeah. She's like, you saw me in that, but you definitely didn't see me in Madam Web. And I was like, damn, everyone's just clowning on this movie now.
Yeah. So they banked on that just to at least earn some money back. But
I'm not going to say it's like the worst superhero film ever made because Steel and Catwoman and like Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance exist.
Yeah.
Even though Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance is like it's all right, but
I could watch that one.
Right.
I actually own that one on DVD. I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's it's not in
the
it's not superbly in that lower echelon of like really just terrible comic book films, but it's on that cusp. It's not great. Like it's really not a great. It's not a great watch.
It's okay. Between that one and Blade 3, which one could you watch?
I don't know. That's a really tough.
Those are pretty close in like, oh my god, this sucks.
I think Blade 3 has the sheer novelty of like, oh, what the fuck, right? But you've got Ryan Reynolds in there being Ryan Reynolds, so there's that too, right? You've got that, so that has that going for it. But Madam Web should be taught in a comic book film movie class of like how to not do everything right in a comic book film, because they dropped the ball hard with that film. Like the cast signed on to do something completely different, and then they changed it midway, and it's just like you duped a bunch of hard-working people into doing something that they probably didn't sign up to do in the first place. Number one. Number two, the ADR with everything happening with Ezekiel Sims is like some of the worst ADR I've seen in a film in like fucking forever. And on top of that, like you can just tell this film was just hacked to shit in the editing room, like even more so than
New Mutants.
And I would watch New Mutants over this.
I would. It was boring, but I'd watch it again.
Over this, because at least that has Anya Taylor-Joy with a fucking sword in it, and that's dope. She's wielding a magical fucking sword in it, and it's dope. Okay,
yeah.
The movie as a whole, but her playing magic, that was good. That was legitimately good. Okay, but like Madam
Spawn.
Web, yes, I'd watch Spawn over Madam Web.
Yeah.
Fucking come on, man! I'm a kid from the 90s.
Yeah, but it's such a horrible movie.
No, it's okay.
It's not the worst thing.
It's not the worst.
That's the worst I've ever seen Martin Sheen.
You know, what?
Martin Sheen was miscast in that movie. Completely miscast.
He was not Jason Wynn. 100%.
No.
If you are familiar with Spawn lore, you know damn good and well that Martin Sheen and Jason Wynn.
Look, Michael Jai White, I love.
He was great.
Great. Look, I thought that he was very underdeveloped and underutilized in The Dark Knight.
Sure.
As Gamble, which was like, that's his name.
That's his.
But yeah, I love that. I love that guy, dude. He's a great actor. I like him.
Yeah.
I liked him in Spawn. And when I heard about what's his name, fucking not Jamie, it's Jamie Foxx, but
Jamie Foxx.
It's not his real name, but that's him. I was like, really? I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. That's a step down from Michael Jai White. After watching this fucking his vampire movie, Daywalkers.
Oh, that's true. That
come on,
Day Shift. Day
Shift. That's right.
Day Shift.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I watched that too. I was like,
that was bad.
Jamie Foxx is one of those guys where it depends on the director that he's attached to. If he's attached to a good director, he's fantastic. But if he's attached to someone who's subpar, then it's
good
not.
In Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh,
I actually liked him more in the Spider-Verse one.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. I was like, okay, you good.
Well, then you also have him in Django. Like he was amazing in Django.
Then again,
and also Law-Abiding Citizen.
You've got a great
director.
Oh,
he's a good actor. I mean,
that's my point. That's my point I'm making here.
I mean, I saw him in Annie.
I'm laughing because that was not the thing I expected, not because I've seen them or have an opinion on the movie. That was just so out of left field.
It's not a pocket.
That was good.
Look, I'm a huge James. I'm a prodigy of In Living Color, so I love Jamie Foxx. I can give a shit. But yeah, and some of the stuff that he's been in has been kind of not good, trash. As of late. But yeah, and just imagining him as Spawn, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think if they cast him as Spawn, they're probably going for, they're probably not going to go over the origin again. If they do, at best, maybe flashbacks, maybe. But I feel like if they're bringing him in as Spawn, they're probably trying to go for a more seasoned Spawn who's been around for a while. Mm-hmm. But
I believe they'll do that, but they'll do.
I will believe that this movie is a thing when I fucking see it. Okay.
Well, also, I hear that they're. I know Todd McFarlane really wants to focus on Sam and Twitch in the movie, which is like, okay, do your thing, but like,
right.
I think he's getting in the way of himself, and that's why I'm on the fence with Phil in that I don't know if this thing's ever going to get made.
Like, and I even just
Todd McFarlane.
I saw an interview recently with Jason Blum. He's like, if I talk about Spawn, it's just going to keep delaying it, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm just like, that's probably the smartest thing you can do, Jason Blum. Just don't say anything about Spawn. Hope to God that whatever script oh man, who is it? Who's doing the script on it? It's
know.
Malcolm Spellman. It's him and two other cats who are rewriting the script now. Whatever draft they turn in.
I'm glad you didn't say Christina Hodson.
Yeah, we know. we know. No, but Malcolm Spellman and two other guys I think are handling the scripting duties on that. So whatever draft they turn in, let that be the final one. Hopefully that's the one they get to go and that gets them on shooting the movie. Cool. But
yeah.
Anyway,
finally. We have a comment here from Lane Deli saying, did we get the worst movie of all time and the best movie of all time in less than 30 days? Well, I wouldn't say worst and best, but like there was a big chasm.
No, you guys are like really hyping up Dune 2. If it falls short, I'm like, it wasn't that good. Or it wasn't as good as you guys claim.
So I saw Dune 2 in IMAX, and like I've only seen 3 movies in IMAX now, and 2 of them have been Dune 1 and Dune 2.
What was the other? What was the third?
The Batman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So like, I personally love this movie.
Huh? I understand Dune 1 and Dune 2, like Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, or or even in the fucking like anything sci-fi or whatever that like that needs to be on the big screen. But Batman, like what? Well,
I went to a fan screening, and also I'm a Batman fan, so like. I mean,
being a Batman fan like doesn't
come to think
I have
of it,
to see it in IMAX.
Come to think of it, I've only recently I've seen 3 films in IMAX, and all 3 of them featured Batman in it. Zack Snyder's Justice League, The Batman, and The Flash.
You watched The Batman too?
Yeah, the same fan screening that Dawson went to, not the exact same.
And
one,
you saw The Flash in IMAX?
You were there.
That was IMAX. Oh, that was IMAX. That was IMAX. You're right.
You were there. You were there. Good Lord, someone get this man his medicine.
I've had a few drinks. I saw
medicine.
Aquaman in IMAX, and I was like, and that was like really the first one, because I've seen the second one, but I was like, wow, because I like being engulfed in the film, like, and something visually effects heavy like that. That's I saw Avatar, the first one in IMAX or whatever. Same thing with Jurassic Park. No, not Jurassic Park. One of the dinosaurs, one of them. I don't know, one of the 6.
Because there's gonna be 7 soon.
Yeah. So I mean, anytime I go to IMAX, is either because it's really effects heavy, or I just want to be, I want to feel small, like Godzilla, or Godzilla vs Kong, or something like that. Like, wow, this is fucking huge. So,
well, for me, it's like I go there for the more full frame and the sound design, a lot of it too. Right. And so like that's why the Batman, like I loved the music that I heard in the trailers for the Batman, so I went there for that, and it was
great,
fantastic.
right? Yeah, it was fantastic.
And Dune, like the sandworms is a reason enough alone to see it. And
and that's my point, is that they're huge, so that gives that sort of credence, or like, wow, that's fucking enormous. So yeah.
But like I mean, obviously I was really excited to go and watch Dune Part 2 because I loved Dune Part 1, just the world building and the way that it was shot and the cinematography and the music and everything.
You said you saw Dune Part 1 in IMAX as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just kidding.
And so with this one, like I also love the fact that before the movie came out, there was the interview that Denis Villeneuve, is that how you pronounce his last name?
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve. He had come out with an interview where he talked about his perspective on film, where he said the words, I think not verbatim, but he basically said, I don't like dialogue. I feel like dialogue's for television. And like,
I read the same interview. Yeah.
And it's cinema's more like
pictures.
Yeah, it's like for images that strike you or cause you to feel something or create escapism. And like I loved that. And so when I went and saw Dune Part 2, I really felt that in the movie, that it was all about you absorbing what's happening via what you see rather than them telling you all this stuff. Because like many directors out there, when you have the Dune lore, would be very much prone to have just someone do voiceover saying like, well, this is how this works. This is how that works.
Right.
Instead, it's us learning it with the characters, with minimal dialogue, good minimal dialogue, but minimal dialogue nonetheless. And I mean, Hans Zimmer, when you have Hans Zimmer attached to a movie to do a score,
he's a great composer.
Yeah, you're not going to fail there.
But that does lend credence to what I was working on earlier this week, adding dialogue to my comic. I was trimming down because I didn't want it to be too wordy.
Right.
Because if you get it to be, if it's too wordy, then that overwhelms the artwork on the page.
Yes.
And then all you have is fucking dialogue bubbles everywhere. And it's like, okay, nobody's going to pay attention to the art because the dialogue bubbles and all that shit's too fucking wordy, and that just takes you out of the experience. So
that's one thing that a lot of people have a hard time doing, is cutting down dialogue like that, figuring out what works best to say more with less,
less is more.
Yeah, exactly. Less is more. So, I will say there's one scene in Dune Part 2. This is not necessarily a spoiler, but the best scene, in my opinion, that really like captures you.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like when you're watching Top Gun Maverick, for instance, like you feel like you're in the plane, is when Paul rides the sandworm.
Okay. That makes sense. So my experience with Dune, it's ironic. So the part 1, I stayed at home and watched it at home on Max because it was the day and date thing. Because it was, October of 21. I didn't want to get sick. I didn't want to risk any of that. So I was like, I'll just watch this in the comfort of my own home, watch it, with my awesome sound system. And it was great. It was fantastic. I watched it in a way that was, comfortable for me. Sure. But when part 2 was rolling around, I was like, I need to see this in the theater since things are opening back up, et cetera, et cetera. I was like, okay. I also didn't want to get sick. Here's the irony. I went and saw Dune Part 2 at my local theater that's closer to my house because both IMAXs are either one is superbly far away from me and I just couldn't make the drive to go see it. And the other one is downtown, and downtown has fucking trash parking. So I was just like, I just can't. Yeah. I need to like go see this in like a place where I feel comfortable. So I go to the theater that I went and saw Top Gun. I saw a ton of other movies that I've seen there periodically. Like I've seen every other film outside of The Flash and a couple other ones like in this theater that I normally go to. And I saw Dune Part 2 there while I was sick. Like well, not sick, but I was like suffering from allergies. So I'm sitting there in the theater, like just
like, why is he getting so emotional?
And I was like coughing every now and again too, because my allergies were just kicking my ass. Like, fuck, dude, this sucks.
This movie's so good. He's
someone looks back, he's like, is someone doing lines back there? What's going on?
Right? Guy working the projector is like, who the fuck is sniffling so much?
Yeah. He's tearing up. Look at him.
The theater that I went to, it was in Charlottesville, and that's like an hour away because we were visiting some good friends as well. So like we made a whole day out of it. But no, like whenever we do decide to go see a movie that like, because we're very picky about movies we see in theaters nowadays. Like I used to see a lot more at my local theater, like 15 minutes away. But we're now more like, if we want to see a movie, or if we both want to see a movie, we're like, okay, do we want to see an IMAX or basically not at all? Because the theater we have close to us is kind of
so
crap.
It's IMAX or nothing.
IMAX or nothing. That makes sense.
And it's very rare that we do that. So I mean, it ends up being not too bad of a price for it, even though it's still pretty expensive. But no, like I struggled to find anything that I had a problem with in this movie. Like I struggled to find anything wrong with the dialogue, the visuals, the pacing. It was one of the fastest 3-hour experiences I've had in the movie theater.
Right.
So like, I thought it was fantastic.
I don't think there was. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't think there was anything I have to say about it that's overtly negative, if negative at all. I mean,
no, I don't think there was anything negative.
Greg Fraser like really did a solid job with cinematography. Obviously, Denny just knocked it out of the park with pulling performances out of everybody. Like everyone brought their A game. You had just a super stacked cast bringing their A game again to this, and like it's funny. Like every time Javier Bardem's character Stilgar did something, like my theater got laughs. Like people were laughing.
He was hilarious.
It was hilarious because it was genuinely funny.
Yes, he wasn't joking. He was just genuinely a funny character.
It's like really funny because like my coworker and I, Bill, he's a little bit older than me. He's a huge Dune fan. Like he read all the books. He's very well aware of like the mythology, all this stuff. So when I saw him on Monday, because he took Thursday and Friday off, and he saw it Friday night in IMAX. When we got back in on Monday, I looked at him and he looked at me and I went, Lasan Al Gaib. And he was like, what? Quetzal Haderach, I think is what it is.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. We were just going back and forth.
The memes that have come out of this movie were like, it'll see pictures of Paul like holding up like a playing card. It's like, is this your card? Lisan Al Gaib. Like basically saying like, oh, it's as it was written. This guy is the promised one. This is what the guy would do.
Dawson,
it's just so funny.
I need to ask you, pick your top 3 characters from this movie, please.
Oh, Stilgar, however that's his name. Okay. I liked Chani a lot in this one.
All right.
I thought she was a lot more impactful. And of course, Fade, like Austin Butler's character.
Right.
I mean, not in any particular order, but those 3.
Okay. I think for me, I gotta go with Paul Atreides. Like the character development that happens from beginning of movie to end of movie for him is just astounding. Number 1. I think also my number 2 is probably Austin Butler's Fade Rotha, because fuck was he demonic in this movie. Oh my god,
especially in that Black Sun effect where it's all black and white, dude.
The Geedy Prime stuff was so spectacular. Oh god, that Coliseum level shit where he's just murking motherfuckers left and right.
The way he looks up at his uncle and just like looks at him and he's just like, huh, there you go, you got it.
Or like when he's fighting the Atreides dude and he just fucking turns his shield off and says, "All right, come on, now I really want to have fun." It's like, oh fuck, he means business.
He was a good villain in this one for sure. And obviously, like, Timothée Chalamet knocked it out of the park. It's just there were so many good performances that it's hard to really narrow it down. Although I will say, I guess this is one small little thing that I could say. It's not necessarily negative, but
wow,
for my
Here
last
it
one,
comes.
I gotta give it to. I gotta say Rebecca Ferguson and Chani and Zendaya's Chani. I think there's a tough tie between the two of them, but man, Rebecca Ferguson, man, mommy.
They both did a great job.
100%.
Was it jarring for you also to see Christopher Walken in there?
No.
I don't know. It wasn't like jarring where it took me out of it, but like all of a sudden it was like, what the heck? That's Christopher Walken. What is he doing here?
I think he was utilized in the most perfect amount possible because
I can agree with that.
In the beginning of the movie, he doesn't say much, if at all, and then by the time he needs to speak, he speaks with elegance, grace, and like just an overall sense of regency that was required for this version of the Emperor. Like it was well done. I
don't know why. Whenever like in the last part of the movie, when I saw Christopher Walken, my brain kept on saying to myself, "Paul, I have a fever, and the only cure is more spice."
Your father was a weak man.
Your father. It's like you guys ever seen that episode of Big Bang Theory where they do impressions?
No. I can't. I also cannot. I will not gloss over my girl, fucking Florence Pugh. Oh man. Oh, she
did a good job.
So good in this movie, dude. Oh my god, so good.
The fact that like you got to know her just a little bit in snippets in the early parts of the movie, and then when she got to Arrakis, it's like, okay, I understand who this person is. Now you kind of have a sense of how she's feeling about the situation, rather than just her being inserted and being like, oh, well, she's just kind of there. Like, no, they actually did something interesting with her with the minimal time that she had.
Right. I haven't read the full book. I'm like, where I'm at in the book is where part 1 ends.
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm at in the book, and I'm like, fuck, I need to finish the book.
See, I want to read all the books. I've only read the part 1 of the Dune graphic novel adaptation.
Yeah.
Which is where the first movie ends, but
I'm now more inclined to finish the book just so I can get to Messiah.
Yes.
Because Messiah is when shit gets really fucking weird.
Yes.
Messiah is the movie that obviously they're going to cap this trilogy off of. I also saw an interview where Denny was talking about like the third movie to some extent. He said, from what I understand, the script is pretty much damn near finished written. But what he did was when Hans was finishing part 2, like when he was finishing the score
was
for
work
part
with
2.
Franz?
Yes. So Denny apparently just walked in silently, put a copy of Dune Messiah on his table, and walked away. And it's like, that's kind of a given.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a given.
There you go. Makes sense to me. But yeah, no, like, again, I had no real complaints to this movie whatsoever. I walked out of it very, very satisfied and glad that I saw it in IMAX. And I know that it has to make a decent amount of money in order to break even. I think it has to make like what, 500 million to break even or something like that.
They're worried about that.
Yeah, they're not.
Fact, the opening weekend it had like 181.5 million.
Yeah, and with word of mouth, it's just going to keep going up.
Right. It's not.
Well, you're going to have a lot of people that are just repeat viewers as well.
If Wonka can clear 500 million, this will have no problem clearing that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I think my standouts are Bardem, Brolin,
Brolin was great too.
Yeah,
Brolin was really good in this movie.
So that's what Nickatina said. He was like, yeah, I felt like the movie really picked up when Brolin came on the screen.
Honestly, I think some of my favorite sequences, obviously the knife fight at the end was spectacular. That was
the way the music just cut off.
All-timer, one of the best fight sequences in a film, period, bar none. When 3 sandworms came and fucking launched their assault on the Emperor and his, Sardaukar, that was dope. That was dope as fuck. That was the fucking sauce. That was Denny going, here's my sauce. And it was great. It was absolutely fantastic in every way.
And honestly, for those who maybe thought that the first Dune movie was like a bit slow or boring, they'll be very satisfied with this one just because there's just a lot more happening. Everything's built up to where things are in motion. A lot more action is happening. And yeah, it does a good job too of mirroring the first one where like most of the stuff where the crap hits the fan is at the end where also so very similar bookends there with those two movies. But yeah, man, honestly, like I just wish studios would make more movies like these Dune movies. Like, let artists actually be artists,
right?
You know, and not be freaking idiots and get in the way. But that's, of course, asking too much, apparently.
Let your directors make the movies they want to make.
Yes.
I don't understand why that's such a hard ask. It should be. It really should not be. In a world, in a post-COVID world, in a streaming age where you have bean counters and executives basically trying to pinpoint what is and is not going to be successful before it even has a chance to be successful, just absurd to me. That thought process going in behind greenlighting these projects or killing these projects is just fucking nothing short of just absurd to me in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah. And you brought up Dune Messiah. Do you think they will go to that extent of eventually showing the children of Paul Atreides?
I do.
Yeah.
I also think that is the case, even though the film ends in a drastically different way than the book did. Because obviously at the end of the book, like, Paul marries Princess Aurelian and he still has Chani as his concubine. But evidently in this film, Chani is like, I can't get behind what you're cooking, Chief. I'm going to go back to the dunes. I'm fucking gone.
Yeah, they're making her more an independent character than Chani is.
And I think that in and of itself is a reason why adaptations, that's the key word here, are so important. Because, mind you, this book was written in fucking 1965. It may not have been superbly reflective of the times of 1965, but we have to remember, like, there is an essence in which these characters were created. And if you're going to adapt it in a modern context, things are going to change. And I think making that change to Chani's character, obviously you have to do something like that for the events of Messiah to take place in the way that they will, because now you set up an even bigger stake of Paul being like, oh, fuck, I can't lose her, because spoilers for Messiah, that's absolutely what happens after the birth of their children. She dies. So you need to have that impact there, because when they inevitably come back together in Messiah, it's going to hit harder.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it was one of the better acting performances I've seen from Zendaya. Just that face she makes at the end when Paul makes that decision. It's like, oh man, she's pissed. And I saw an interview with Zendaya and Florence Pugh where they were talking about that. And both Florence Pugh and Zendaya were just like, yeah, no, Paul messed up. Paul done messed up here. And that was actually kind of humorous. I appreciated that. That was pretty dang good.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely game for part 3. I'm gonna hopefully try and see it in IMAX if I can. I said that about part 2, and that didn't really pan out for part 2. But then again, I was under a time crunch, money. I'm heading to Boston in a couple weeks, so yeah, there's that. But yeah, like I'm all for Messiah. I'm here for it. If I come into some extra coins soon, I'm probably gonna buy the audiobooks of like Dune and Dune Messiah, maybe even the third one. I don't remember what the third one's called, but yeah.
That's Children of Dune or something like that.
I think, you know what? I think it is Children of Dune. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one might be it. Yeah.
But like Dune Part 2 in IMAX is worth it just for that riding of the sandworm scene alone.
100%.
I mean, and that's another thing too that I loved is like I talked about it showing, not telling, is when he's riding the sandworm and it shows you how he's able to control which direction it goes and able to raise it up and lower.
Okay.
Like that was perfect.
To your point, let's also talk about how well that looked on a big screen for something that was clearly fucking fake, because we know big giant sandworms are not a thing. And then compare that to every other major blockbuster that looks like a goddamn video game.
Yes. I mean, that's the thing is like this movie convinced you visually of every single thing that you saw. You were convinced that it was real. Like the effects there was that much care put into them. And also like there's a combination of practical and CGI going on with the sandworm, like the flaps. There's some practical going on there, I'm sure. I'm sure some also additions in post and such. But like, again, you see like the vents underneath the flaps where they need to breathe through and so they have to go back up. And like, it's just a lot of great visual storytelling that, to your point, isn't done as well in a lot of other blockbusters nowadays. And
granted, when you only have a very small color palette to work with, obviously it's going to be very easy to mesh it together in post. But even still, point being, this is one of the best looking films I have seen in like the last fucking decade.
Yes. And here's the thing. People always complain about, oh, it's like a specific color palette and such. It's like, that makes it to where they can make it more visually appealing and convincing to you. That's a tool that the directors and the VFX artists use. There's a reason why they film things with certain lighting to make it easier on everyone in the process to make it a convincing looking image. That's how filmmaking works.
like the Coliseum scene on Gidi Prime. Like I can't. I think they did. I don't want to say monochrome. I don't want to speak out of term here, but like they did a very specific way of shooting that sequence to make it look the way that it did. And then when you show them inside, like, you know, the buildings of Gidi Prime, you saw them in like, you know, typical.
Yeah, and when it
color.
transitioned from regular color to out in the sun, like the transition was seamless.
Yes.
It was not jarring at all. I was like, holy crap. Like, again, it was them describing via visuals how it works there rather than saying anything. It was,
and on top of that, like,
awesome.
You look at this movie and then you look at the 1984 film and you're like, oh, Denny was influenced by that. He was influenced by this. Like the still suits, if this even goes back to part one, the still suits are straight up damn near the same they looked from 84 to now. Like that was a genius. Like I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna fucking make it look like this and it's gonna be great. It was beautiful. It was fantastic.
Yeah. No, it's just so well done. I mean, Denny just knocked out of the park. Hans Zimmer knocked it out of the park. The entire cast knocked it out of the park. It was just, again, I can't say enough about these movies so far. And like the fact that it's like Dune for a lot of people has been sort of a obscure sci-fi thing for a long time. Like people are more prone to know of Star Wars than Dune, even though Star Wars heavily takes a lot of things from Dune.
A lot of science fiction takes its cues from Dune.
But now that it's bringing it to the forefront, it's like, okay, this is cool. We're back to formula with sci-fi, but able to do more with it with modern visual effects technology. And that's just a really cool full circle thing.
You know, to speak on Denny's ability as a director, I mean, if you look at his resume, right, like it's like he's been building up to this. Like he said, even in the past, like I want to crack Dune. And, you know, you look at Arrival and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, he could probably crack Dune. Then you get to Blade Runner 2049. You're like, yes, this is the guy for Dune. And then what does he do next? He's like, yeah, I'm doing Dune. And he's like, he does Dune Part 1. And you're like, oh, he fucking did it. He did Dune. Like he's the man. Like he is graduated to the science fiction director of our modern age. Like he is that guy. And it's fabulous.
And Sean here in the chat says it perfectly. It says, may have a new standard for similar films moving forward. Absolutely. This is one people look at and be like, oh, people respond well to this. And therefore, we should try to emulate this, do it in a similar way. And like, yes, studios out there, if you're listening, which you're more than likely not, you should use this as a template for what you do in the future. Don't copy it, of course, but like use it as inspiration for what you do in the future. Like people like it. We enjoy it.
I have not seen science fiction elements looked so beautiful in a movie since Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Like all the Krypton stuff in that movie is gorgeous.
Yes.
But then like Denny doing his own thing with, you know, Arrival, Blade Runner, and now these two movies, I'm just like, fuck, give him the keys. Like, let him do whatever the fuck he wants after Dune Messiah or in between this and Dune Messiah. Yeah. Whatever Denny wants, I'll watch. I don't care.
Seriously. I mean, that guy, he's one of those guys, he's earned my full respect. I mean, obviously, he's never made anything that I've seen that's really been bad, but fully is like, okay, now he's in my Rushmore of directors.
I don't think he's ever made like a bad movie as far as I can tell. I mean, you've got Arrival, Cicero, Blade Runner.
I never saw Cicero.
Cicero's good.
Yeah.
It's a very grounded movie, but it's good. It's very, very good. Prisoners too. I did Prisoners with Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
Another good one. Yeah.
He's just made a lot of stuff. Like I know of some of his films, but like there's some that I'd never even heard of before. And then I look into it as like, oh, okay, well, I might have to check this out. But he's one of those guys that kind of slips under the radar if you're not really paying attention for some reason, somehow. I don't know. But no, man, it's both my wife and I, we left the theater loving it. We had a friend that came along with us and my friend. So again, it's IMAX, so it's like kind of loud. But when Austin Butler had improvised that kiss with Skarsgård.
Yeah, I read about that.
My friend died because like it was so out of nowhere, and he just grabs the guy and shoves him at him. My friend just died for like 2 minutes. It was so
I chuckled. I thought that I was like, oh, that's cute.
It was so fun.
Clearly improvised, but yeah, it was cute.
Yeah, but the fact they both just went with it. It's like,
you know what's really funny is like I walked out of this movie and I was like, you know, Austin Butler would make a great Joker.
He would.
He'd make a great Joker. After watching this performance, I'm like, you know what? Between Elvis and this, let him be the Joker.
I mean, he's got the range.
I'd be fine with it. Like if God forbid, James Gunn wants a Joker for his DCU, I'm throwing the hat in the ring for Austin Butler. That dude would fucking nail it.
Yeah.
IMO.
Give any role to him at this point. He'd
sure.
nail it, honestly.
Oh yeah. Charming guy, cute guy.
Yeah, I mean, does a really great job with everything that I've seen so far. But yeah, no, I think it'd do really good. And it's crazy that it's a crazy thing that all of that was like a bald cap and that it looked so like real.
Yeah.
Because I saw an interview too where I think it was the Graham Norton show that he was on, where basically he was saying like, yeah, you know, I was tempted to shave my head, but I was working on this other movie too, and they're just like, please don't shave your head, please don't shave your head.
I would have just did it. I would have just fucking did it just to make them mad and be like, you can make me wear a wig. But then again, you know, we've all seen how that might work out later on down the line.
Yeah,
I think Butler's just a phenomenal actor in his own right too. After seeing this movie, I didn't see Elvis, but I saw this, and I was like, okay, I saw the snippets of Elvis, saw the trailer. I was like, okay, he got the voice of Elvis down.
He was the best. I mean, obviously, he was the best part of that Elvis movie. That Elvis movie had a lot of issues, but he was not one of them.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
It's not a bad movie, but it's like it doesn't know what it wants to be.
I want to see Denny and Austin team up again for something down the line.
Yes,
I would like to see them do something else too, because they clearly just have this synergy. Because he was able to yank that performance at Austin, and it was just fabulous. Like what he did with Fade Rutha completely trumps. No offense, Sting, but like anything Sting did with the 1984 movie, this completely overshadows and trumps it without even trying.
I mean, without saying,
like between like licking the knife, setting the people on fire, slitting throats, like he was just off the wall in the best way possible. He was just so damn good as Fade Rotha in this movie.
One of the better villains that I've seen in a movie in a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I saw people comparing him to like Heath Ledger's Joker. I don't know if he was quite at that level, but he's still really good.
I could see that conversation happening.
I could see it happening, but
would I put him up there? I don't know. I would have to watch Dune Part 2 and The Dark Knight like back to back.
Yeah, fair.
Just to come to that conclusion. It's tough. I definitely understand the argument and the debate, but I'm like, you know, I don't know if I'm there.
Well, the thing is too is that like Austin Butler had significantly less screen time than Heath Ledger's Joker did, so like there's more impression on.
Yet look at the impact though. It's
yeah.
We got to see just how
did this Austin guy have to get to emulate somebody else like Heath Ledger did?
He actually tried to emulate the voice of Skarsgård a little bit.
Okay. And I think he did that pretty well, honestly. Yeah. And that was another thing I thought too. I was like, I really love the way that Baron Harkonnen died in this movie. Like Paul just fucking stabs him in the neck and goes, "You died like an animal." I was like, oh man, that's so hardcore.
It's like fair,
so dope, just
good
so
revenge.
Dope.
But yeah, no, for people out there, if you haven't seen it, go and see it if you have the means to do so. Go and watch it in the biggest screen possible with the best sound system possible. It's just a really fun time.
100. Believe I gave it a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I don't know if you have like a yeah.
So
we're in lockstep on this. Yeah.
Yeah. I had no problems with that movie whatsoever.
100% recommend.
Yes.
It is 4 Nerds. There you go. Yeah. 4 Nerds approved, baby.
2 out of the 4 officially approved. The third one
I think Andre liked it.
Andre
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4.
Yeah.
3 for 4.
So here we go.
It scored 3 out of 4 nerds so far. Oh man. Yeah. So with that aside, we have some other things to talk about.
We haven't checked in with the chat. We should check in with the chat.
That's true. We should do that. We should
check in with the chat.
Yeah. By the way, people, we appreciate you guys being here. Kevin saying LC Snyder and Rogan. We'll talk about that.
We will get to
sure. So Droga, we got him here. We got Chris, or at least he was here. We had RJ here for a little bit.
What's up, guys?
Lane Deli. We mentioned them. Kenneth Crayley, what's up? It's the first time I'm tuning into the stream. Appreciate you being here. Anthony Beltray, Trash Man.
What's up, man?
What's up, man? Let's see. Want to make sure we cover everybody else.
Yeah, definitely leave us a comment. We'll definitely interact.
Venom Hernandez.
Venom, what's up, man?
Great
and of course, good friend Sean here.
Yeah, what's up, man?
And Venom also said Austin Butler's become a national treasure when it comes to characters he can perform. I mean, yeah, it's
fair.
I don't know very many people or any people really that truly dislike Austin Butler. I mean, they're at least impartial at the very least.
I like Gerard Butler.
I mean, yeah, that's a good one too. Good name association.
Damn right.
But
damn right.
Yes. Well, let's transition to this other topic. It was an unexpected thing that dropped today, which was a certain interview with a certain director.
The Nicholas Hoult and Rosenbaum interview you're talking about.
No,
not quite. I mean, we could talk about that a little bit. I haven't seen it. I know some of us have only seen clips of it.
Yeah, I saw clips.
But
I didn't bother.
Yeah, I didn't really bother either.
I didn't watch the Rogan one.
Yeah. Joe Rogan interviewed Zack Snyder, which came out of freaking nowhere. I don't think anyone expected it.
Yeah. I think that's kind of how Rogan operates, though. Like, he just has people and like throws the episode out. I don't know if it's ever like announced formally prior, but yeah, that was
I've never seen that. But interviewed Zack Snyder and talked about his films and stuff. And Phil, you pointed out before we went live that they talked surprisingly a lot about Batman.
They talked about Batman. They talked about working out because obviously Rogan's a UFC guy. They both, they're kind of bodybuilders to some extent. They talked a lot about Zach's work as a commercial director before getting into big films. They talked a lot about a lot of different stuff, and it was actually a really solid interview. And I'm not even like the biggest Joe Rogan fan at all. Like, I don't listen to his show at all. It's ironic. I was even like, I've never listened to an episode of Joe Rogan, but the minute he had Zack Snyder, I was like, play. I'll listen to it. I don't care. I'll listen to it.
Yeah. It's like I told you before we went live, like, I'm not necessarily the biggest Joe Rogan guy either, but every episode that I have listened to, maybe like 3 or 4, he does a good job of drawing out good conversation from his guests.
Sure.
I mean, Zack Snyder, a guy that I respect a lot and I love his work. I mean, him picking his brain is really cool. And, one of the things relating to Batman they talked about was how Zach was like, well, they told me like, oh, Batman doesn't kill. Well, now that you say that, now I kind of want to do that and talking about exploring that concept. And Phil, you called it from the get-go. People went kind of berserk with it. Yeah,
I mean, they talked about how specifically like anyone who's a fan of Zack Snyder knows he's definitely of like the deconstructionist mindset when it comes to character work and stuff like that, and like picking apart what makes a character tick and tink. And when it comes to like Batman specifically, I mean, he like up front on the show, he was like, like Dark Knight Returns, that's my whale. That's the movie I still want to make. That's the movie. That's the comic book film I would love to do as my swan song. And then I'd be done with comic book films. And I'm like, for the love of God, just let him make that movie, please. But I don't think that's going to happen for a while, not until at least comic book films. What's up, Cortez? I don't think that's going to happen until comic book films are like on their really like last breath. But time will tell. We'll see what happens. But as it stands right now, like he was talking about how Batman's one of his favorite characters, and Joe Rogan wasn't necessarily like on the same page, because Rogan mentioned up front, like, my 2 favorite movies you made were Watchmen and 300. You look at Joe Rogan, you're like, that makes a lot of sense.
It checks out,
especially the 300 part.
You could definitely see Joe Rogan like maybe if he does cosplay, but like
I will say, like hearing Joe Rogan gush about like how phenomenal Watchmen is on the day anniversary this fucking movie came out, nonetheless, too, was actually really cool. Like, he said something to the effect of like the birth of Dr. Manhattan is like one of the most masterpiece comic book film moments in comic book cinema history, and I'm like, I can't disagree with that. It's true.
Yeah. It's definitely up there for sure.
He was ahead of his time doing that movie too. Oh, great!
Here we go. Look who decided to chime in. It's Andre.
What's up, you guys?
Watch your P's and Q's.
Are you on the road right now? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm on the road. I have my earbuds in, so you can see whatever you want.
Give you earbuds?
Yeah,
that's neat.
We keep it vanilla.
Yes. Did you have the chance to listen to any of the Zack Snyder, Joe Rogan podcast, Andre?
Yeah, I listened to almost all of it on the way down. Before Ryan called and interrupted.
All right, thanks for chiming in. Thanks for being a caller. We appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Continue to support the 4Nerds. Thanks a lot, buddy.
He doesn't want me to say this, but Ryan calls me and it goes on my Bluetooth audio, and he goes, "Ah!" for some weird reason. Wakes up my son, and I'm like, "Oh, cool, thanks, dude."
Look, you didn't want to interact with your child. I forced you.
He was sleeping. So
that's such a Ryan.
Look, you guys need a stronger bond. I look, when I visited your house and met your children, that's one thing I decided. I was like, you know what? I need to help them. I need.
I bet.
Like super nanny.
Yeah, but like. Andre, the thing that Phil was just talking about with the podcast or the interview was like talking about Batman, and he specifically talked about.
Oh shit!
Oh my gosh! All right, please be careful.
So safe.
But yeah, they were talking about like Batman, and Zach talked about his no kill rule and everything, and kind of breaking that. Again, people just went freaking nuts. And here's the thing: in a span of 2 hours, I like posted like, "Oh, I agree with Zack Snyder's take on here." Like, they're like you just got to be open minded about this. And I got called not a true Batman fan 9 times in a span of 2 hours from people. I'm just like,
and you still don't get it.
Apparently I don't get it.
Yeah, you don't get it. You don't get it. No, it was ridiculous. I mean, it was like as soon as that podcast started getting circulated, all of a sudden everybody was like, "Oh," making comments, and it's just really dumb. And I absolutely enjoyed the podcast. I thought they had a great conversation, and I agree. Like, I loved his take on what he did with Batman. I think all 4 of us agree that his take on the DC characters was unique, and I thought it was really cool. But I think the only mistake that he made was that, and it's not really even a mistake. It's like he didn't take the time to be like, okay, I'm gonna make this for all the idiots and need it spelled out. I'm not gonna have the scenes where they literally tell you like, Alfred, I started killing people because I went off my path. You have to figure that out. And I think
his quote unquote mistake was trusting the audience.
Exactly. It's like like I think he realized like, oh, if I would have spoon fed them, they would have been like, oh yeah, I get it now. But he didn't, and so they were like, "Why? I don't get it. Why is he killing? Christian Bale didn't kill. This is stupid."
but even then, when it's explained, there's just such a stubborn mentality to it. Like honestly, I look at the comic book community, and there's a lot of open-minded comic fans out there. I meet them all the time at Comic Cons and such. But like, you would think for people who are fans, you're stopped now, and we know. But you'd think in a fandom full of people who read these multiverse stories every day, full of these different varieties of the characters, you would think that people would be open-minded to stuff like this, but they're the most closed-minded people out there.
Oh my god. Okay, here we go.
It's such an opposite to what it should be. You know
As someone who's read comics for well over a decade, as someone who briefly worked at a comic book store, as someone who's had numerous conversations with a bunch of comic book people who've read comic books, whatever, have their preferences on these heroes and villains, whatever. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard people say, and I quote, Zack Snyder doesn't understand the DC characters. And I'd shake my head every single time because number one, that tells me up front that some of these people are just so have the blinders on when it comes to these
tunnel
characters.
Vision when it comes to your interpretation, and nothing else matters.
Just straight up. And then when I ask them, I'm like, okay, well, who's your favorite Batman on film? And they're like, Michael Keaton. And I'm like, let me get this straight. You like the Batman who had miniguns attached to his Batmobile, rode down and broke into Axis Chemicals, blew it up, presumably
with people in there,
right? And one who killed the Joker and let him die. But you have a problem with Ben Affleck's Batman because he's, wait for it, using a minigun to take out criminals and steal kryptonite? Do you see like the disconnect here?
He never stole kryptonite. That's where you saw.
That's where you went wrong.
I guess so.
Keaton did it whimsically.
What Andre said, because Keaton did it whimsically with a smile on his face, right?
That makes it more disturbing, honestly.
And I'm just
like when it comes to the whole talk about, oh, Batman's killing people, the only scene in which he like truly kills people is when he's in the Batmobile. Other than that, like in the warehouse scene, he just kicks all their asses and probably gives them injuries that they probably would later die from.
And if someone dies in the warehouse fight, it's by their own ignorance.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to fucking throw a grenade at Batman and you don't expect him to lob it back at you, I got nothing for you. Batman didn't kill you. That's your own ignorance for fucking throwing a grenade at Batman.
He even said in the podcast, he said, like I wanted him to be in that scenario. And then how do you overcome that? Like, how do you get past doing that? And that's what we were getting. And you can see that in Zack Snyder's Justice League. You can see how his character was developing back into what the quote unquote classical Batman character really was. He was being positive. He was being inspirational. He was trying to find the best in everybody. And so he was actually changing into a different kind of Batman as the story would go on. Now, obviously, if they would have done his Batman movie, he would have went down kind of a shitty turn because, Deathstroke would have been breaking down his life systematically. But still, you were already seeing a different Batman in Zack Snyder's Justice League compared to what you saw in BVS. I mean, he tells Alfred, He goes, for the first time, Alfred, I'm what do you say?
Operating strictly on faith.
On faith, yeah. And when before that, the last time they had an interaction in the Batcave or together, that's when he has that whole 20 years in Gotham scene, and he says, even there's a 1% chance we have to take that with an absolute certainty. So it's like it's a total 180,
Yeah, 100%.
So you're seeing that change, but the problem is that of course he's relying on the general audience to think and to figure this stuff out, and they don't figure it out. But
and my main problem with it is just the closed-mindedness of a lot of people in the comic community. Because again, this is a community that has comics that have multiversal versions of these characters, multiple different versions with different personalities, written by different authors and different artists and such. And it's like, and they're like so close-minded to even a small little thing being different about a character, or even a significant thing. But it's like you'd think they'd be more open-minded than any other people out there, because at the end of the day, like Batman's a character that's been adapted in thousands of different comics by hundreds of different writers, right? And they're acting as if it's like a novel adaptation rather than a comic adaptation. Because with a novel, you have one version of a character, their specific way of thinking, how they operate. If you adapt that and it's different, you have more reason to complain because there's only one version that has been before. But with Batman, like and all these other characters, you have all these different things you can pick from. Okay, you can't really afford to be picky with that.
The one thing I really love is that like he was so unabashedly just boisterous and just loving of the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns adaptation.
Oh yeah,
because he was like straight up like, look, when you put Batman in that situation, when you have Batman up against a dude going, I'll kill her, I'll do it, and Batman just responds with, I believe you, and then just shoots him. It's like, fuck yeah. Frank Miller just went, fuck it, and tore Batman in half. To quote Zack Snyder directly from that interview, that's basically what Frank Miller did in that moment. And it's just like, how do you go forward from that? Because still, at the end of the day, he's the fucking hero. Batman is still the hero saving the fucking child in that book. And in the movie, who's he saving? Superman's fucking adoptive mother. Like, it's not so much as it is a no-win situation. It's much more of like, if I don't do this, the fucking world is at stake. So yeah, if I'm gonna have to kill this lunatic dude with a flamethrower to save the rest of the world potentially, then yeah, I'm gonna do it.
So Andre Venom here is saying that you're on your way to Chick-fil-A. Is this true? Can you confirm?
No.
He's going to In-N-Out.
We're gonna go to. We might go to In-N-Out. We might go to McDonald's. Is that where you want to go, Aaron?
Burger
McDonald's.
joint. Some burger joint.
So you'd rather go to In-N-Out and McDonald's over Chick-fil-A? Blasphemous. That's blasphemy.
There's not a Chick-fil-A around me right now.
And he doesn't have
no
a
excuse.
Whataburger.
You don't have Whataburger. I joined the club there.
I will smash McDonald's. McDonald's is bomb.
Cortez only didn't Bronze Age Batman used to kill it. Okay, here's some trivia for you guys. In the earliest issues of Batman legitimately hangs someone from the bat plane.
Yep, and he has guns.
Yes,
on his belt.
That he does. So this is not a new novel concept to the character of Batman. Honestly,
there was a comment I saw or a post that said that that Batman didn't shoot the villain with that gun in The Dark Knight Returns. I don't remember if he did or not.
He did. He totally did. Hold on. Here's the thing. Here's the problem. I love Frank Miller, and I love The Dark Knight Returns. But it is also
the book out right now.
Yeah, it is an inconsistent book, because in that scene, as Phil will show you, he breaks in there to save that little kid who is the heir to this fortune or whatever, and he goes in there, breaks through the wall, grabs the machine gun from the villain, from the mutant, and the guy says, "I'll kill him, I will." Batman shoots him. It has the effects of like shooting him a machine gun, and it shows the guy falling against the wall, tons of blood behind him. Then Batman says, I believe you. He 100% killed that guy. Now, here's the problem, is that a lot of people say, well, when they list off his crimes afterwards, it doesn't say that he was guilty of murder. It's like, yeah, because they can't prove that. They can't prove that he was the one that shot. No.
Number one, dude, you got to understand that's not murder.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not murder, dude. Murder was intent.
Right.
And he all he did was kill him like a fucking soldier kills his enemy. It's not murder, it's fucking killing.
Yeah.
It's a difference. It's a complete difference. It's just it's a paradigm in perception.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And you can't argue with these people that want to talk about that because they're stupid. They don't understand that. So you've got to understand there's a difference between killing someone and murdering someone. There's a difference.
That's
well, the
also
guy
true.
who
And
as
Phil,
a kid was going to murder somebody.
right,
He
exactly.
stopped
And
the
Phil, if you
murder
pull it
from
up,
happening.
you pull it
Yes,
up, Phil,
that's true.
you'll clearly see Batman's hand on the machine gun, the effects, the words effects showing that he shoots it, the mutants getting blown back and a lot of blood behind him. And then also in that book, here's the thing is people also use the shot of the book where Batman breaks a gun saying this is the weapon of cowards, even though he uses that weapon multiple times in that book. That's why I say Frank Miller's inconsistent. I love the guy. I love his work and I love his books, but he's inconsistent with his perspective on the character. And that's fine. But then you also have later on when Batman and Joker confront each other in the tunnel of love in that carnival, and Joker gets paralyzed. All of a sudden, Joker's dialogue becomes gray boxes, which has been the color and shape of Batman's inner dialogue the entire book, therefore suggesting that it's not Joker talking, but Batman rather placing words in his mouth before he snaps Joker's neck. Now, obviously, they don't show us Joker having his neck snapped by Batman. They show Joker doing it himself, which is physically impossible. When you're paralyzed, you can't decide to snap your own neck. That's just not something you can physically do. And so to me,
Ryan
that's
tried that, and that doesn't work. It doesn't.
Yeah,
No,
unfortunately.
I can attest.
But yeah, see, Phil's got the page here. As you can see, breaks through the wall. And the bottom panel.
That panel right there is the dead mutant. But that bottom
dead
panel
mutant.
right there.
Yeah, and he's totally dead. Here's the thing is that's the one panel where a character, oh, sorry, I put you full screen. A character has all their colors muted because they're dead. That's the hint there with the color that he is dead.
Now, in the animated adaptation, it's very much open to interpretation of whether or not he actually shot the mutant because the mutant just kind of falls over. You don't see any blood, but that's the animated adaptation. Ironically enough, directed by Jay Oliva.
Yep.
But yeah, it's very cut and
Jay
dry.
Oliva doesn't understand Batman.
He's
You know,
That's
the funny thing.
He's a storyboard artist.
That's just the funny thing, right? Like a lot of these DC Twitter dorks are just so clinging to this idea that Batman doesn't kill, and I just love to point out and like poke a hole in their argument, like, but he has. Many
times.
You can't sit here and say Batman doesn't kill when he has across his canonical history because that's just factually inaccurate.
Yeah, and they're like, but those aren't the ones that count. And it's like, okay, who gets to decide that? You?
And to answer Droga's stupid question, yes, we're talking about the Snyderverse because Zack Snyder was on with Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan podcast. So yeah,
it's a relevant topic.
It's relevant.
Come on,
Yeah,
it's all relevant.
It's all relevant.
relevant.
It's just.
I thought it was all relative.
Is anyone really surprised that anytime Zack Snyder talks about like his version of DC, like all these nerds just have to come up with pitchforks and torches and just act as if...
Well, here's the thing: they're trying to justify to themselves.
I thought we buried him. Bury him. Get more
Well, no, their
pitchforks.
thing is they're like, oh, well, thank goodness we have somebody who loves DC in charge of what James Gunn is like. Okay, Zack loves it too. He just has a different opinion on it, and that's
You know what's really funny is Zack's name is on the Suicide Squad as an executive producer.
Yes.
Why?
It's also in Wonder Woman 84.
To be fair, he created the characters that are used in those movies. So yeah, it kind of has to. It's all relative.
Yeah, but again, at the end of the day, for me, it's like again, I know a lot of comic fans who are reasonable and can have good sound conversations and agree to disagree or whatnot. But there are many out there who just intellectually cannot, and it's infuriating. But like that's the deal with it. And my problem is that it's a mentality that will drive newer people away from comics if they interact with those people. I mean, it drives me crazy, and I'm still a fan, but people just trying to get into it, they're going to see that and be like, oh, this is kind of gross. I'm not going to interact with this.
I saw a post on Threads where someone talked about their interaction at a local comic book store and how they asked a simple question of like, where's a good jumping on point for this book here? And someone was like, oh yeah, I went to a comic book store too, and I asked about when the release of Saga was, and this person was chastised for not knowing the release schedule of Saga by Brian K. Vaughan. I'm just like, that right there is why so many people do not feel compelled to go into local comic book stores, because you have some of these zit-faced dorks just acting like they fucking know better and acting like everyone
excuse me, you don't know when this is released?
Is that your voice when you go into a comic shop?
I'm making fun of people, Ryan. Sense the tone.
Hello.
It's just it's infuriating, and on top of that, it's part of the reason why I quit working at the comic book store, because the owner's son would chastise me for liking the fucking Aquaman movie. Look, I get some
It was a
people
good movie.
Some people don't like the Aquaman movie. That's fine.
movie.
But don't sit there and make fun of someone because they fucking like a movie. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
immature.
just stupid.
It's immature.
That's the thing. It's immaturity. And more and more, we're seeing a growth of immaturity when it comes to media discourse, comic book discourse. I mean, it's just a theme all around. Lack of maturity. That's hitting the nail on the head.
Right. And a lot of these fans, you know, at the time, too, if you look at when Batman vs. Superman came out, you know, it was going up against, because people just love to play, you know, they like to pull sports analogies. They like to act like, it's a game. They like to act like it's just one big competition. And they just think, oh, well, Marvel's doing it better because they have more movies and they built up more time for these characters. I'm just like, you people just don't give a fuck about storytelling, do you?
That's the thing. No, they don't.
The
problem, and I have to say the problem is also geared, you know, more to the early films of, like, you know, Batman Returns, Batman and Robin, you know, Batman Forever, all that stuff, and then also the young Marvel universe after it was taken over by Disney. Is that, you know, they have a sort of view or paradigm of this is how these movies are supposed to be made, and this is how comic book characters are supposed to act, respond, and there's no room for any other way to tell a story.
Right. It's bonkers to me, honestly. Yeah. Like I do not understand the lack of mental capacity to try and just be like, oh, there's more than one way to tell a story. And like, that's my biggest issue with people who, like, quote, take issue with Batman versus Superman for burning the Doomsday card too quick. And I'm just like, what did you want them to, like, do Doomsday 20 films down the line and we get the death of Superman proper? Like, that was never going to fucking happen.
Well,
that's
I know
never
it was
going to happen.
Awesome. And also all the people use the phrase character assassination. It's just like, dude, that's the thing is, like, I don't care if people out there, like, have a different opinion on, like, Batman in film or whatnot. I don't care. As long as you're willing to accept the fact that I have my own opinion and it's a subjective opinion that's also valid, I'm okay with that. I have plenty of friends who, you know, don't like Snyderverse stuff, but they respectfully disagree. That's the thing. And that's all back to the idea of maturity.
It's gravy. Like, it's great when people can respectfully disagree. But when you sit here and try and lambaste someone or try and chastise someone for having a different opinion, or you, like, if you're also kind of a heel turn, or if you're kind of like a two-face in which, like, at one point in time you were for the movie, but now you're cracking jokes at it just because your friends are doing it, it's like, piss off. I've got nothing for you. I'm good.
Yeah. I agree with you there.
Well, he even talked about it too. You know,
he's back.
Yeah, I'm back. He was saying things like, is there a lot of background noise on my
No,
end?
you're good. We can hear you.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. But no, he talked about how he's like, yeah, you know, I think that, you know, audiences weren't really ready to have these heroes be challenged by, you know, reality. Right. And I think that let's say James Gunn's DCU happened first, and now that was coming to an end, and then we got Zack Snyder's DC universe. I think it would be more well received now than back then, because now you have an evolution of these stories. You know, you have shows like The Boys, you have Invincible, like, and so I think that when you look at where everything's at now, right? When you look at like the MCU, for instance,
in disarray.
But what's one of the things now? I'm not quoting this guy like he's gospel, but what's one thing that Bob Iger said? He said that we need to
Star Wars
focus
fatigue.
Well, no, but he said we need to focus on quality and not quantity.
Really? You know, yeah, I saw that too, and I'm like, really, Bob?
What a concept!
Then why the fuck do you have 4 Marvel movies on your calendar next year?
Well, but those are almost inherited, almost. But the thing too is that
were they
a little bit, but they're limiting how much Disney Plus shows are coming out, if any. And so I think that the idea here is that, you know, and we saw with Madam Web, we saw what Dakota Johnson said, you know, audiences aren't that dumb, especially nowadays. They're not that dumb anymore. Like, they see the shit, they see the bullshit, you know, the lining on the wall. They're like, hey, look, this is crap. And this whole, like, you know, studio by committee or film by committee, you can see when that happens now. And I think that when you get a movie like Dune 2 that has a really good story, you know, top line actors, it looks beautiful. That's what audiences want. They want quality over quantity. And I think that, unfortunately, the MCU was a big contributor to that, of just pumping out as much content as possible, but hurting the quality of the product.
Yeah.
And the same with the DC. I mean, the DCEU, they had like a bunch of movies that came out that had no connection, that were goofy. It just hurt the brand altogether. So I think moving forward, that's going to be the bigger emphasis, is that it has to be a good story. And that's one of the things that James Gunn has been saying, is that I'm not going to make a movie unless it has a really good script, which if he's not lying, I think that's a good sign.
Yeah,
I think that's what all filmmakers are going to start doing. And all studios are going to start moving towards, how do we make better quality products?
That's exactly what Zaslav was talking about. You're absolutely correct.
but those have longevity.
They echoed the same sentiments. They really did. Like the Bob Iger piece that Andre is referring to, you could copy and paste everything Bob Iger said practically from something David Zaslav has said in the past, which is chilling and not in a good way.
It's that paradigm, dude. It's they say what they want their investors to hear.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not a fucking idiot, but what I'm saying is that
no one said you were. I mean, we all knew it, but no one said it.
But you were like, well, they just want to tell you what you want to hear. Of course they do. But what I'm saying is that I'm hopefully that this sentiment is actually getting through to them, that people want better quality products and not so much content, especially if it suffers in quality.
Okay, glad you brought that up, because Paul Dano recently did an interview and he was asked about
yes, he did.
The Batman wasn't affected by any superhero fatigue, and he's like, look, once the word content came into the conversation, that changed everything for us as actors, because now we're being challenged in how we need to produce with whatever we're making, because we don't want it to just come off as another piece of content off the assembly line. I'm paraphrasing his interview there, but he essentially was just like, look, I don't think we did the Batman to like basically like do another Batman movie. We did it because we had a story to tell. We did it because Matt had a vision. We did it because we felt confident in the story.
They did it to fucking usurp Ben Affleck's fucking Batman and put something out there. Get something on the fucking books.
Out of here.
Get something on the fucking books, because they knew the Batman would sell and make them some fucking money. That's Michael Osland right there.
Well, I think both things can be true in that sense.
Right there. Fuck yes. That's exactly what they fucking did. They were like,
here's the thing.
Young Batman,
I feel like,
and it won't be Ben Affleck. And everybody's gonna love it, and we'll take elements from his script.
Well, why can't both things be true?
No.
But they had a story to tell, and they also want to make sure they put something
No. I mean, because they were vetting him when he was still doing Apes, right? Like, I think he was still in the third movie of Apes, and they were like, "Yeah, no, hey, let's get him over. He's doing great. People are liking his shit. You know, let's get some more talent over here, right?" And that was, I'm sure that was Hamada, and so yeah, that's exactly what fucking I do. The simplest explanation is usually the fucking one on point.
Sure, but here's the thing too, is that you talk about like Matt Reeves coming in. Matt Reeves didn't come in until what, like 2018 or 19 into the
2018.
2018.
Yeah, because they went to him first and he told them to piss off, and then because they wanted him to do X, Y, and Z. They wanted to somehow fit his Batman into their universe or whatever, and he was like, "Nah, fuck that, I'm out." And then so they went back to him and brought him back for a second offer.
But here's the thing, like when you talk about like usurping Ben Affleck's movie, I don't necessarily believe that, because again, we go back to the interview that Joe Manganiello had, where he said they had already canceled Ben Affleck's Batman movie before they finished the reshoots for Justice League. So Matt Reeves wasn't even involved at that point. And so
Matt Reeves even said, like, I read the Ben Affleck script. He said it was great. He just said it was also not his cup of tea and not the kind of Batman movie he wanted to make.
Yeah.
And so he did not necessarily a page one rewrite, but he wrote his own script, which was not from Christopher Wozniak, as much as that dude would like people to believe.
No. Especially not. And you got to understand that some of the things that these people say is bullshit. It's bullshit just for fucking face value, because look at fucking Ben Affleck. I'll be an ape for fucking, you know, Matt Reeves if he wants me to. You know, it's just like because people were still kind of there was still that buzz like, oh, you know, would Ben Affleck be in Matt Reeves' movie? Well, if it was already canceled, then Ben Affleck fucking knew that he wasn't going to be a part of the shit.
Well,
so it's all fucking bullshit.
And so the studio kept up the image for a while until they could slowly weed out the possibility of it happening.
It's all fucking. It's just like fucking.
In fairness, they were waiting on how Justice League turned out before they made any hard decisions.
No, they were waiting for Black Adam.
They're on the edge of their seat for Black Adam.
Yeah. Birds of Prey. They're waiting for
Oh
that
God! Get out! All right. Well, disconnect the caller.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, no. So it's crazy.
I mean, when you look at movies in general, I mean, before Dune, the last like epic movie that was like high quality that was a long form movie that I enjoyed was Oppenheimer. Yeah, Oppenheimer. And then before that, I have to think. I'm driving right now, but I mean, Batman or The Batman was one of them. Because I mean, I love the aesthetic. I love the universe, the way that the city looked and felt, and it was very immersive. The way that
he did a great job with Gotham.
Yeah. Jack Pierre has a question here saying, do you think if Justice League made $1 billion, we'd have gotten Ben's Batman movie? I don't know.
I think Ben was going to be a background character.
I think that if Justice League made $1 billion, they would have recast Batman.
I think
so too.
I think if Justice League would have made the money that Warner Brothers wanted it to make, I think Ben Affleck would have stepped away as director, but brought in someone he trusted to direct his version of Batman. That's what I think.
I can see that.
Because I don't think he was. Believe me, it would have been a tall task for him to direct, write, and produce that Batman movie in that Batman costume.
Yeah, and also like the fact that he was dealing with all the crap he was dealing with at the time, like alcoholism and his divorce and everything.
Bingo.
Well,
yeah,
and not only that,
there's that too.
But like, let's say that it made $1 billion. That means that both John Berg and Jeff Johns would still be there running shit. And so Jeff,
you know what? By that
rewrote it.
Look, by that same point though, had they not fucked with that movie like they did, they would have been fine. But they made poor decisions. That's why they're not in charge anymore. And people can sing, and I'm not saying you are, but people can sing the praises of Jeff fucking Johns all the live long fucking day. Bottom line is that dude fucked up. Straight up.
He fucked up.
He fucked up. He had the golden goose of fucking IP to run, and he fucked it up because of his own ego.
Oh yeah.
Straight up.
Like straight up. Zach was creating a graphic novel in movie form. He wanted Super Friends. He wanted something that was commercial that the kids can get into. And that's
essentially I would think that's what Warner Brothers wants. They want where can they maximize the profit? Super Friends would, because look, no matter how much you like DC, dude. I mean, I'm sorry, Marvel. Like DC characters make more money than fucking Marvel characters do. They bring in more. They're more
solo DC known characters. Yeah,
you're telling me that Batman makes more.
All right, get the fuck off here. We're done with you.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Man of Steel's outgrossed every single Marvel solo film up until the Avengers. Like Man of Steel made more money than any first solo film from Phase 1 of the MCU.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean DC characters, man. They've been around longer. They are ingrained in our society more than Marvel is. Marvel's there, like their biggest fucking characters, fucking Spider-Man, and then next to him would be Hulk, and then next to him would be
I guess
Iron Man now.
I would actually argue that before Iron Man, it went Spider-Man, the X-Men, and then after that, it's a fucking toss-up.
Yeah.
No, dude, I'm sorry, man. Hulk was like huge. Hulk was big. Except for the movies. Aang fucked up and there were no.
He was awesome. But... He was huge. I mean, he's a big character. Have you seen the size of him? Yes. But I mean,
that's what happens when you eat McDonald's.
Tell the Hulk. But no, it just I'm hoping now that studios will just take more time and make better quality shit. And who knows? Maybe they won't. Maybe they will. But I think that's what audiences are craving more, and I think that's why Dune is doing so well, because you can tell even by the trailers that it's a high quality product.
Yeah. Wait, hold on, Andre. Speaking of Dune, I have to ask you a question.
What?
Did you or did you not get the popcorn bucket?
No, the theater I went to didn't have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was really concerned.
They had the bags. That was it. It was all bagged. I was like, damn. All right.
Oh man.
He was like, just pour the butter in my shirt.
Yeah.
Well, I've
I
seen
like-
so many videos where like a guy goes up to the counter to a theater is like, I would like the Dune 2 popcorn bucket. It's like, hold the popcorn, extra butter. It's like, no, please don't. No.
That was Andre.
I thought that in Dune 2, I know you guys already talked about this, but I thought that Timothée Chalamet did an extremely
Willy
good
Wonka,
job.
yes.
Yes.
I
Absolutely
thought
agree with you there.
he absolutely killed it. I was like, wow, this is really good.
I was telling him how much you enjoyed Brolin.
Oh, I thought he was great.
Yeah.
When Josh Brolin's character came into the movie, I felt like the movie got better. Not that it was already struggling, but it got better. I was like, oh wow, this
With
is cool.
each character added, the movie continued to increase in quality. I agree with that, especially with Josh Brolin. I loved how he came up to him and said like "young pup," like just calling him that. And it's like, oh my gosh, that was good.
That was class.
But I felt like Zendaya as an actress, I don't know if she felt a little out of place in that movie for me. I mean, her acting was fine, but I felt like I don't know, it just didn't work for me. And then towards the end of it, I was like, she almost started taking a back seat. And I guess, what's his name? The main character, Paul?
Willy Wonka.
Paul.
Willy Wonka.
Muad'Dib.
Willy Wonka.
Listen, Hagaib.
But I guess he was trying to kind of, make that happen in a way. But I don't know. She's got some stiff competition. I'll tell you that. Because I thought,
I don't know. I liked what they did with Chani quite a bit, but
Same.
I mean, I think you have a point that she kind of started taking a backseat, but that's kind of also intentional with the story because that's
that's what happens. like he was kind of he wanted her to kind of do that, and but I thought Florence Pugh she looked beautiful. I was like, oh my god.
Calm
When
down,
does she
Andre.
not look beautiful? What?
I know. I would have been like, I will marry you right now. But the one
Andre
thing,
says he has the popcorn bucket.
the only
Yeah.
yeah
Extra
the only complaint
butter,
I have,
please.
I'm holding it right now. Extra butter.
I
and
bet you
napkins.
are.
Or do you?
Oh
or do you
no!
have socks?
Oh.
You had extra socks.
I need another pair of pants after my viewing of Dune.
Why do you think he turned his camera off? He had to pull over.
Just the mere mention of Florence Pugh.
He's like,
pew.
pew.
Um,
Into the sock.
But
That's terrible.
the only
Oh.
I liked the movie a lot. I thought it was really good. It was really cool. It was awesome. But the one thing I didn't like, and I know why he was in it, but Christopher Walken, I don't get that. I don't get that casting.
He was
to
slightly
me-
jarring for me too, but
Yeah. It didn't work for me.
I don't
I
understand
thought
why
that-
Max Shrek was there.
I know that he's a huge
Watch
Dune
the movie
fan.
and you will.
So I heard that he's a huge Dune fan, and that was what he really wanted to be in the movie. That's what I heard, but I just kept waiting for him to be like, what do you think you're doing? It just, I don't know. Just seeing him, I was like, why is Christopher Walken here?
could you imagine how that conversation went where he's like, look, Denny, I really like Dune. I would like to be in the movie, please. Minimal dialogue. Just let me be there.
Paul, I liked your father, but I really didn't. He was weak. And
He was a weak man.
He was costing me money. You know what I mean? It was like, oh God.
I
don't
needed
know.
more cowbell.
Because in the older one, in the original movie, wasn't he a big alien in a tank?
I don't. You know what? Maybe, but I'm gonna have to rewatch
Yeah, I
that
don't
original
know.
movie to get back to you. On
Yeah,
that.
that's not a claim that we can verify and validate on the show, so we're gonna have you retract that for now.
We're almost there.
Paul.
Oh, he's almost there. Here, we're almost there.
No.
No.
Oh man. No, again, Dune was super dang good. It was honestly it felt like
phenomenal.
it was the best theater experience event that I've had in a long time. Probably since No Way Home. And even then,
Yeah.
this was better than No Way Home.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. Let's see. Bruce, why are you dressed like Batman?
Why you dressed like
Actually, you might say No Way Home, but Phil and I, we know what the great
Okay, we
experience
get
was.
it. We get
With
it.
Zack Snyder's Justice League in the IMAX, right, Phil? That was beyond.
For a second, I thought you were going to say something like The Flash or Thor: Love and Thunder, and I was going to be like, no, don't you dare throw me in with that. But no, you're right. Probably Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Because, like, how many people have seen it in IMAX? Just the people that were there.
Yep.
And it's crazy to think about. And it looks so beautiful, too. It was like, wow. It was incredible.
Yeah,
I'm sure it did.
That movie was the sauce. It's the absolute sauce.
Oh, man.
That movie was the fucking sauce of an IMAX experience. That's for sure.
But,
and then, like, having fucking Ben Affleck walk out after the movie.
Yeah,
oh my God. That was insane.
Nuts.
That was fucking insane.
Yeah.
Having Ryan Zeeverfett show up.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Zeeverfett. He was.
I was there. I asked him all about Batman, and he was very. He really wanted to talk about the character.
Like when he walked up and sat down, I in a moment of silence, I just screamed, "I loved you in Mallrats!"
Oh gosh,
it was great. It was fantastic.
Like I appreciate my fan.
Andre, real quick question for you. I don't know if the rest. I don't think the rest of us saw this interview, but there was also an interview with
Michael Rosenbaum and
Tom
Holt,
Welling.
Yes.
You know what? I did not see that one. I saw
You didn't see the Nicholas Holt meetup?
No, I didn't see the Lex Mini Lex with the Lex sign posted behind them. Yeah, I know. Tonight I was gonna watch that, but
tonight.
I ain't watching that. I'm not watching that. I'm good.
Yeah, I've only seen clips of that show every now and then.
I mean, it was nice. The only one I saw was a little part about is he he's working out for the role, and he was like, yeah, an all-star Superman. Lex mentions that his physique was due to going to the gym, working out, making his body peak, whereas Superman probably doesn't have to do all that because of the density of the sun or whatever. Mm-hmm. His muscles being dense because of the sun, but
yeah, that's nice.
Cool. It was cool. I
mean,
I know Phil is more excited about that than I am, but I just wanted to sort of gauge that so you guys could see how excited he actually is. He's holding it back.
Gauge the audience.
Look, everyone who's talked to me about Superman Legacy is just under the impression that I just automatically hate it, and I'm just like, no, that's not it at all. My mindset regarding it is impress me, because my bar for those characters is just superbly high as it is anyway. I've never.
Who did they cast as Perry White?
Oh, Wendell Pierce. That's actually a really solid casting.
That was a good.
That was a good call.
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen him in anything, but
you ever watch the movie Hackers or The Wire or Jack Reacher on Amazon with Krasinski?
No, Jack Ryan.
Sorry, my bad. I get the two mixed up.
Yeah, no, I've not seen any of those.
He's an actor that whatever he's in,
he's an actor.
He makes it better. He's an actor. Yeah,
he's great.
No, but he's one of the actors where like whatever he's in, he typically makes it better.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got presence. Oh, Alejandro says Suits. That's another one too. He plays Meghan Markle's dad in that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Well, like I'm right there with you, Phil, in regards to Superman. Well, I guess the movie called Superman now instead of Superman Legacy is just like I'll be impressed when you impress me. Like, and there's a lot of people. Same thing with you, Phil. Like people will be like, oh, I'm sure like you're not like you're looking a chance to like bash on the movie. It's like, no, I don't care. I don't care.
That's it. That's just it. It's like it's not so much as like, oh, I'm ready to hate it. It's like, no, I just don't really care.
Yeah,
because when it comes to Superman and Batman, they're two dichotomically different characters, especially when it comes to live action adaptations. Like, I think we even called it on the show last week. Like we said, the Superman emblem was probably going to be something of like Kingdom Come, but with the traditional Superman colors. What the fuck happened the very next day?
Yeah.
It happened again.
It happened again.
4Nerds called it again.
It happened again, right? And I wouldn't be shocked if by the end of the month we saw a full-fledged like shot of David Cornsweat in the suit, and my reaction's probably going to be the same. Neat. That's neat.
I mean, for me, like I saw the Kingdom Come suit or the Kingdom Come symbol, and I'm just like, okay, that's a cool symbol. I like the symbol.
Jansport backpack material, cool.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
I thought it looked more like a Wilson basketball.
Yeah, Wilson, yes, an outdoor basketball. Yeah. That's what it looked like a little bit.
Well, it just to me, I was just glad that he went with something different because if he would have went with classic, he had to. Classic,
because Dave looks like Henry, so you can't have an S that looks anything resembling or anything close to the Zack Snyder Superman emblem. It's got to be something starkly different for idiots out there to like be like, is that Henry Cavill super? Is that Henry Cavill?
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because the amount of just blatant brown nosing and ass kissing I've seen over that one shot of that one logo. I'm just like, you people are fucking shameless.
Well, even worse was like the little short video that the actress for Lois Lane put out with both Corn Sweat and
I
Hulk.
couldn't even make it through that.
Well, and there was people like, they already have better chemistry than Henry Cavill and Amy Adams had. It's like,
based on what?
Yeah, based on what?
Based on
They didn't
what?
talk. They didn't talk.
Comments like that, you just got to ignore those.
Yeah, I mean, and like I saw the video making the rounds, and it's like, oh yeah, Rachel Brosnahan's pretty to look at, sure. And I'm sure that's part of the reason why some of these dipshits are like, oh, Rachel Brosnahan's gonna knock it out of the park. Look, I think she's a fine actress. I think she's gonna probably be one of the best Lois Lanes we've ever had. But I'm not gonna sit there and fawn over her just because she's fucking drop dead gorgeous. Okay, that's probably part of the reason why some of these dumbass Superman fans are like, "Oh, James Gunn, you're gonna fucking do it, aren't you?"
You know what? You know what does disappoint me though is that I was honestly kind of hoping that he would have the inside of the S logo be black, just to see a lot of these Superman like fanatics that are all about yellow, blue, and red freak out. I thought that would have been hilarious.
You can't. You know the whole thing about
it's too close to Kingdom Come.
Well,
I know.
Not only that, but Zack Snyder gave us muted colors.
That's why it would have been funny.
Yeah, but not
because then they'd have to jump to defend that, and I was like, hold on a second.
No. Okay.
Is this true? What Alejandro was saying? Is that true?
What?
Joe Rogan said sell the Snyderverse to the cloud or Netflix. I don't know.
I don't recall. I honestly I listened to the whole thing, and I know they were like making fun of the cloud, but like I don't recall that being a part of the conversation.
I don't remember.
That's wow.
We'll have to find that out somewhere else, unfortunately.
I would have heard the whole thing, and then towards the very end of it, that's when Ryan called.
Yeah. Did you hear this nonsense?
Have you seen the new Superman logo?
Oh man.
But they started shooting a scene in Norway, which I guess is the Fortress of Solitude. So that's kind of cool, I guess.
You know what's really funny is like they that was confirmed, but then in the Hollywood Reporter article that broke the story that Wendell Pierce was cast as Perry, they said, oh, it started shooting in Atlanta. And I'm like, that's not true. That there's miscommunication there because they started if the shot of the symbols in fucking snow. And I sent you guys something about it being shot in Norway. So I'm like, Boris, you're usually on point with a lot of shit. That's not on point, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm sure principal photography is probably going to take place in Georgia and for sure Ohio. They've mentioned that too.
Well, James Gunn already said, he was like, yeah, we're going to shoot in Norway for however long, a very short time, and the rest will be shot in Atlanta.
Go figure. Okay.
So Cortez, you're saying that the colors are muted, and you're very accurate. You know, they are not as vibrant as, let's say, you know, Christopher Reeve or I mean, hell, you know, the only thing that was muted for Brandon Routh was the red.
Yeah,
it's Ralph like South. But with Snyder, the yellow was muted almost to a white. The blue was very, very opaque and very dark. And the red was navy. Also more of a navy, more of a
I'm still shocked that people bitched about that.
Well, I mean, and this is the thing is sort of that was the trend though, right? Like if you look at Iron Man, his red was muted or darkened or whatever, you know, and that was sort of like, you know, that's sort of how people bridge that, and it's not as vibrant as the comics. Let's mute the colors a little bit so they're not so saturated in a realistic environment, and you don't look like fucking, you know, Incrediboy or some shit like that, fucking, you know, jumping off the pages of a comic and sort of match the environment around you. And that's why, you know, when they took the photo of like, you know, Henry Cavill in front of the bank vault, it was very muted. He blended almost in with the vault behind him. And so you couldn't really get a sense of anything. And when they did the shot of, you know, Ben Affleck in front of the Batmobile, it was in black and white. You know, again, just, you know, it was, you know, and that's sort of like, and look at Wonder Woman's, you know, her outfit from, you know, the Batman vs Superman versus how they saturated the hell out of it in Wonder Woman 84 and beyond.
Yeah.
So they are still even the Wonder Woman 84 and Shazam 2. That's still a little muted. Gal Gadot. It's goat like oat. But anyway, so her costume was still a little muted, even though it was more vibrant. It was still a little muted. It wasn't a vibrant red or anything like. Hell, look at Spider-Man. His costume was the most vibrant at the end of the last film when he was jumping on buildings and all that kind of shit.
No way.
Especially the blue.
The blue was very, and that's the one thing.
Even his homecoming suit was pretty vibrant.
Homecoming was vibrant. Yeah, that's true.
The red was.
The red
was really vibrant.
The blue was very vibrant at the end of No Way Home.
Well, you know what's funny is that when that logo for Superman came out from James Gunn, and people start comparing it to the first shot with Superman of Steel, and there was somebody who like took the shade of blue from James Gunn's Superman, and it was like a brighter blue, but they put in there labeling it saying clear or blue, just blue, and then they took it from Zack Snyder and took the pigment from it, and it was like a darker navy sort of muted blue, but it's still a blue. Sure. And then they said in there clearly not blue. It's like, are you freaking blind? Like, I know you may not be an artist.
It was
like,
slate.
Still blue.
It wasn't navy. It was slate.
Slate. But like, still, it's just like, I don't know. It's stuff like that's like clearly not blue. Is like, do you not recognize colors unless they're bright and vibrant versions of them?
Wet fart noises. That's all I hear is wet fart noises.
Yeah. Just what was that, Andre?
I was playing with my kid.
Oh. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Kevin O'Dog here. He says, I remember the first piece of promo for Man of Steel I saw was the teaser of Soups flying up in the sky with sonic booms. I was all in. I mean, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Turn Living. Salute. What's up, man? Yeah, other than that, I'm trying to think of what else we wanted to talk about here today, if nobody else has anything to say about that.
That was a great transition.
Yeah, that was fabulous. That was beautiful, honestly. I don't know. I guess on Superman, the Superman title being changed, like the legacy being dropped, and it's just Superman. I've seen a lot of hemming and hawing about, this is great. This is like he's putting his stamp on it. He's like making it authoritative. Like this is a Superman movie, and it's like, yeah, we got that in 1978.
Yeah, so
granted,
like Superman 78 and Superman 25,
right? But granted, even the 78 movie is technically titled Superman the movie, and it's like
the movie.
Yeah, still, but people still refer to it as Superman 78, and now we've got Superman 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a terrible or great name. Like, it's a Superman movie, so like you got a Superman in the title, obviously, but like just Superman is like whatever. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, it's a dumb reason because X, Y, and Z.
This is what it should have been called from the get-go. It should have just been called Superman. Because when you name it Superman Legacy, then for all the general audience, they're not going to know. It kind of tells you, like, wait, was there a previous one? Is it connected to the other one? What's going on? And so when you just call it Superman, then you know, okay, this is just Superman. I like that. When you call it Superman Legacy, it feels like it's a sequel.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, it has a second name to it. Like,
True.
Batman Returns. Batman Forever, Superman Legacy, Superman Returns. You know what I mean? So is this connected to one of the other movies?
I think to piggyback off that point, like the title Superman Legacy would make more sense if they were adapting like a Kingdom Come style Superman, where he's like had a legacy behind him. Whereas this one, they're literally just jump starting a whole universe with Superman and a bunch of other B or C list characters that are in the DC universe.
Well, and the term legacy too. I mean, Ryan and I mentioned a while back that like typically when you talk about legacy, you're referring to like your children. Like your children are your legacy,
right?
Generally. So I always had thought like, okay, so is this movie going to end with them like holding their newborn baby, and then, with Clark saying this is my legacy, and then it ends with Superman Legacy. You know what I mean? As it shows the baby, like, oh, okay,
young John Kent. Yeah, I suppose. I understand that.
But then now when you call it Superman, and you're like, oh, okay, really, anything can happen here. But it's definitely going to lay the groundwork for the Authority. But I still don't think the Authority are going to be huge players in this movie, because if you make them any of those characters huge characters in this movie, the general audience doesn't know who they are. They're like, who the hell is the Authority? What the hell is that?
Alejandro here saying Superman Hard as Steel, directed
by James Gunn. That's funny. I think Andre's onto something. My thing is like, yeah, if the Authority has a large presence, which I don't think they do, because there's only been one confirmed member of the Authority in this movie. So I don't know. I feel like Millie Alcock as Supergirl is pretty much all but a guarantee to show up in this movie too. Why else would you cast her so fast, right? If she was not playing a part in this movie, and him being like, "Oh, I never said she was in the movie," then why the fuck did she get cast then, James? Huh? Yeah. Because she's probably going to be in the movie. Now, the question I have is, does her emblem have the same style as his? Is it also a Kingdom Come-esque Superman logo? Or House of L logo, I should say.
Yes.
You know, she could.
You kind of have to.
At this point, right?
But, yes, of course.
Unless she rocks like the traditional Superman logo.
I would be so happy if she rocked something similar. Like I mentioned last week, of course when Andre wasn't here, who cares? But
I was there.
He was there last
you were?
week.
I forgot. Okay. So like how Henry Cavill's S and Sasha Calle's S are the same S but slightly different.
Sasha Calle is not in this universe though, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I would prefer that Millie and
Corn
Sweats are similar. Like it's still angular, but there's a little bit of a difference, or maybe some addition for Zor-El versus L. So
yeah.
On top of that, I don't remember where it was reported, but they did like a test screen alongside each other, and she tested in a Supergirl outfit. Whether or not,
like her suit is probably already made.
I think it was Linda's.
Oh,
I don't think it would last that many years, right?
I would guess. I would actually guess Melissa Benoist from the TV show.
Maybe.
Benoist, that makes sense.
Or Sasha Calle's.
Guys, okay, so we've heard the discussion about trunks or no trunks, but what about skirt or no skirt?
Here's another one. Length of cape. Cape length.
I gotta have a long cape.
I would prefer her cape to be, since she's a short person.
Her cape's shorter.
Yeah,
I'm betting since Gunn is such an all-star Superman fanatic, he's going to have the all-star Superman length cape. It's going to be a short cape.
You're probably right.
That's my guess.
That's my only gripe with All-Star Superman the book is that the cape. I just don't like the short cape for Superman.
Yeah, the short cape looks weird. It looks weird.
It's like he's like wearing a cape he wore as a kid, or he's like he's wearing
I don't like the like Shazam length. I prefer, like, if you're gonna go short, the shortest I would go would be like a Chris Reeve, because that was fine. I had no problems with his length.
I bet you didn't.
What about his girl?
Now you're talking my language.
No, I would say no skirts, and honestly,
naked.
I hope no.
Didn't you read Woman of Tomorrow though?
Yeah, she has a skirt in that.
Yeah, she's got a skirt in that. Yeah,
she does. But like, I just think in today's,
I would prefer like a skirt, kind of like a not a kilt, but like it's sort of
kilt?
like.
What is she, an Irish?
It's not okay. Where it's like it's layered, kind of like a Wonder Woman's skirt. It's kind of layered. That would be cool. It's longer in the back, shorter in the front, party in the back. But I would prefer something like that. That'd be cool. Something interesting. Like there was some concept art for Sasha Calle where she didn't have a cape, but she had like this skirt thing, and I was like, yeah, that could work.
Wow,
that could work.
Send me that. I've never seen
that up. Yeah, no,
that, please.
Yeah, I think you made that up.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. You get your McDonald's.
I'm almost there.
Confirmed. Andre is going to McDonald's.
Now, Andre, we have to answer this question. What is your order going to be?
It's going to be a McDouble, whatever it is.
No, it's going to be 2 double cheeseburgers and a large fries.
Cheeseburger, hamburger.
Not a spicy McChicken?
Dirty Bulking.
No spicy McChicken. Here's
are all
the thing. I'm annoyed by McDonald's because they got rid of their best item, the chicken snack wrap. But here's the thing. Every other fast food place, it has their own snack wraps now. And so it's like, you know what? That's a good middle finger to McDonald's. Nice.
Okay, so here it is. Let me share screen.
Oh, please do.
He like drew it. It's like a Ryan drawing. Like, okay.
I just found this. It's totally legit.
It's
I
from
just ruled
Project
this.
Justice League.
So anyway, so there's the
Oh, wow.
skirt.
I could be down with that.
And that would, I think that would be cool. Like, give her the Kingdom Come kind of looking, crest or whatever. And of course, she has her blonde hair, but yeah, I think that would look pretty cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
because the cape and a skirt would be too much.
I actually really like that.
Yes,
That's
Andre,
really
I
bold.
believe you are correct with that.
Like even the long hair fits with
Actually,
this.
I mean, it worked. It
pretty
worked
well.
for that girl in Shazam. The what was her? The Wisdom of Solomon one.
Mary Marvel.
Yes.
Mary Marvel.
It worked with her. She had a skirt and a cape.
Yeah,
She looked cool.
That's right, yeah.
that's a good point. But like with this, like I could see the wisdom of having like long-haired Supergirl and not of a cape so that doesn't get like tangled in, and then you just have like a skirt thing going on.
Absolutely.
I can understand that.
Yeah, so I
Yeah, I
can
don't
see
know.
this working. I don't know if they'll do it, but I did like this concept.
I feel like since
Yeah.
they're pulling heavily from Woman of Tomorrow, I think it's going to be the skirt, but they're probably going to change the emblem. I think it's going to be the skirt cape combo, but with a Kingdom Come-ish emblem.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
I imagine you're right with that. Yeah.
Like I
would
read
imagine-
that very recently, and it wouldn't shock me at all if that was.
Because I mean, if he's working directly with Tom King, writing stuff for that, I mean, I'd imagine they'd want to keep it as similar visually as possible.
Yeah.
To that.
100%,
I think
yeah.
that she's gonna rock a more traditional S, and I think
And
that
a faux hawk.
No.
Well,
Yeah. She's gonna have
No,
a
but
whole-
like,
probably not.
I think that Corn Sweat's logo. I got a feeling, or I get the feeling it's going to be an evolution of the logo. Like they'll make reference to the fact that his is slightly different from hers because
Yours is so angular. Does that mean you're edgy?
What you're saying is they're going to add Kryptonian writing in his in the second film.
that's it.
No, it's like in the Christ and Infinite Earth
that wasn't there.
special for the CW, where it's like, why do you have black in your symbol? What happened to you? Are you depressed?
Are you
like-
depressed? No, I just like the absence of yellow.
And it's like, oh, it's so angular. Why is that? Because it stands for the rigidness of my resolve to help people across the world. It's like, I swear.
Yeah, it sounds stupid like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sounds like some Madam Web villain dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh,
Only the
God.
mouth doesn't match the words.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's right. You saw it too, right, Andre? You saw Madam Web?
God, yeah, as we talked
Yeah.
about last week. That was
That's right,
terrible
yeah.
last movie.
Oh yeah,
But
he
anyway,
was on the show last week. I remember.
Disappointing. Disappointing is the word I keep using for that movie. Just outright disappointing.
Yeah, it should have been Spider-Man meets Terminator. Instead, it was a taste of that with a lot of other bullshit mixed in. It was like, what? I know, I'm
Yeah.
going there, buddy. All right, guys. Well, hey, I gotta run because we're about to go eat now. So,
Man,
For
I'm
sure, mate.
sorry.
I'll talk
You have a
to
good
you
rest
guys
of your night.
later.
Well, have
Yeah,
fun.
man.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for dropping in. And like and subscribe. And we
Thanks for calling.
appreciate you weighing in. Thanks.
Yeah, he just leaves.
Yeah. He's such a good supporter. I mean, he comes in every now and again, kind of gives his commentary.
He doesn't
I mean,
really leave us alone,
somehow he has a link. I blame Phil.
I blame-
Me? What? I just opened up StreamYard and it's already there. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You just show up and you expect.
I'm ready to
I'll
go.
with that.
I'm
Let's
usually
go.
Rare and ready to go. I don't know what you're talking
Got
about.
Jason in the chat. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Jay. Good to see
Um,
you.
What up?
yeah, and like
Highlight him.
my question for you guys, because again they talk about them starting filming where the Fortress of Solitude is. Like,
Mhm.
how do you think that it's gonna be a big Fortress of Solitude, or is it gonna be like a smaller?
It won't be in his mind.
I wouldn't
yeah.
be shocked since James Gunn is a quirky
huge.
filmmaker. It's gonna have the key. It's gonna have the big ass key, and Superman.
Yeah. I
He's
think
do
it's
something
gonna
like
have
that.
aliens in it. Like the endangered aliens.
I think it's
gonna have, like,
and
Kryptonian
the
life in
robots
there,
and all
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
He'll probably go all out for that.
Yeah.
I just-
Yeah.
I just
I think
hope he
that-
doesn't do what he did with that stupid research facility in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, where all like the androids, aliens look like stupid Stay Puft Marshmallow Men.
That was
Oh
dumb,
my god.
and we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair
That
enough.
was dumb.
Very dumb.
Guardians 3 was something.
Mixed bag.
It's funny. I showed a Marvel ranking to a buddy of mine. We were talking on Instagram, and like I have the holiday special above all three of the Guardians movies.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Oh yeah, on
Hmm.
my Marvel Cinematic Universe ranking, I have the holiday special above all three of the Guardians movies.
3 is above 2 for you, right? Because 2 is
Yes. Let me pull up my Letterboxd ranking. Actually, I'll show you guys.
I watched the
Letterboxd?
holiday special, but like it was so unmemorable for me.
what?
Oh, don't get me wrong. The Guardian stuff is like in the lower half of my Marvel Cinematic Universe ranking. So let's just be.
Oh
completely
man,
transparent here.
that's basically what
The
this whole DC universe is based on.
The first one is pretty high out for me. The other two, I guess, basically the three, like not so much, just because the first one was such a surprise of an experience.
It was different, and that's why everybody loved it, because it wasn't your
Yeah.
average normal Marvel movie. They could take liberties, and they did, and it was well received because it was a breath of fresh air. And then they were like, "Well, let's just double down on this shit until
Every movie's gonna be like this
Thor:
now.
Love and Thunder."
Oh God! Please stop.
Just saying, just saying.
For the love of God,
Death.
just stop talking about that movie.
Yeah.
All right, let me share my screen here really quick.
Yep.
Present, share screen. There we go.
All right.
All right. So top 5 are Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Loki, and of course Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. And then the bottom 4 are Ant-Man and the Wasp, Iron Man 3, Thor Love and Thunder, Thor Ragnarok. Now,
Man.
yeah, I know.
Well, I would have thought Madam Web would have been on top.
It's not in the MCU.
Is
So,
it?
no. So let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20. So number 25 is Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Number 26 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And then I've got...
Oh, you like 3 more better than 1. Interesting.
I do. And Guardians 1 is, let's see, 26, 27, 28, 29. No. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 33 is Guardians. And then 33, 34, 35. Guardians 2 is number 36.
Okay.
Yeah. That is my
good.
ranking of the MCU. It's... Yeah. Clearly, I'm a Spider-Man fan because his movies broke my top 20. I love No Way Home. I think No Way Home's fucking fantastic. That's my top favorite Marvel movie before Doctor Strange now. Like, it beat Doctor Strange, my top Marvel movie.
Dang.
Yeah, I know. I've got kind of a wild list going on. I need to kind of rewatch the MCU and maybe rearrange some of this stuff because I feel like some things have aged better than others. But
Yeah.
Like I feel like maybe Black Widow might deserve to be a little bit higher. Thor probably deserves to be a little bit higher too, now that I think about it. But I do feel like my top 10 remains vastly unchanged. Like I love Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange, Winter Soldier, Loki.
Moon Knight made the top 10.
Oh yeah, I love Moon Knight. I thought Moon Knight was fantastic.
That was good. I didn't think it was fantastic, but I thought it was good.
Oh, I loved it. I'm a huge fan of Oscar Isaac. I think he's great.
I like him.
I think the character looks dope too. I just really like what they did with that character. Maybe the ending was a little left to be desired, but
and the hippo
was cool. I like the hippo. I'm not you. I'm a little more forgiving of the hippo.
Okay.
And ironically enough, I have She-Hulk at 15. I actually quite enjoyed She-Hulk for what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. It's okay, buddy. That's what I'm here for.
Okay, I can agree with I like a couple of the ones you have in your top 10.
It's ironic because people are like, "You like Avengers: Infinity War the most?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not?"
Infinity War is the best Avengers movie.
Period, bar none. Like it is
it's the best.
It's the best. It's the best.
And then the
Avengers
original
movie.
Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then Endgame, and then Age of Ultron.
I'm actually quite shocked. I have Endgame so low on my list. I feel like it should be a little bit higher, but
I don't know. I thought it was just sort of like, well, how do we wrap this up? I don't know. Let's wrap it up. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's hurry up and get to the next phase. We're so excited for it.
But yeah, that's my list right there.
Okay. That's a good list. I haven't used Letterboxd in Dawson introduced it to us, and we ranked, I think, Star Wars movies or some shit, and I haven't used it since.
Oh, you don't want to see my Star Wars ranking? You'd probably hate it.
I'd probably hate it.
You probably would hate my Star Wars.
If it doesn't have Empire Strikes Back as number 1, don't even show it to me.
I think it is. Let me double check that.
It better be everyone's number 1. I don't care what gen you think you are. It's the best Star Wars movie.
Well, do you rank yours based off favorites or best? Because there is a difference there.
Yes, there is.
Because I know that Empire
with
Strikes Back is the best movie, but Revenge of the Sith is my favorite because it was so impactful for me. So there's a difference there.
Oh no, you wouldn't like my ranking. You would not.
Yeah.
You would not. No, Jack. My number one is not The Last Jedi. It's the one before The Last Jedi.
That's the best of the three, because that's the one.
I think I'm kind of going by
Still have
favorites
hope.
because okay, to clarify, my top three, in my humble opinion, can probably alternate. I mean, I don't disagree that Empire is the best Star Wars movie. I don't dispute that at all. But I feel like mine is just a personal ranking of like my favorites from top to bottom, and it goes Force Awakens, Empire, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and then Phantom Menace. Yes, Phantom Menace is number 4, and then behind that is the original Star Wars.
Okay,
interesting. I know, right? And then number 5 is for Rise of Skywalker.
I mean. It's the worst. Okay, like, so if Empire Strikes Back is the best made Star Wars film, then that one is the worst made, because I
can't really agree
it kept jumping from beat to beat to beat to beat to beat, and never really there was never a time or a pause to like really kind of absorb and take in what you're taking, because it was just like, let's go to the next. We got to wrap this up. We got
everything you just said. I could apply to Rogue One.
Dude, I prefer Rogue One, even though it's not, in the Skywalker saga. I
really like Rogue One.
I thought Rogue One was really well made. I really did I liked how they did Tarkin. I don't care what anybody says. I really did like how they incorporated, that deceased actor. Cool.
I thought you hated that.
Yeah, I thought you hated that.
I liked it.
Peter Cushing. Yeah.
I liked how they used his reflection. I thought that it was a better, even though Leia's didn't really last long, it was just like hope. I thought they did such a better job using that actor from Harry Potter to be Tarkin. They could have just used him, to be honest with you.
I think it'd be fun for a future episode if we did a DCEU ranking amongst us all. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Sure. As a reflective thing going into the new universe, since we're on the topic of rankings as it is.
I'm actually currently like organizing my Star Wars ranking, because I realized I didn't do a ranking for all.
There you go. You're welcome.
So I'm just rearranging that at the moment.
So
yeah, I kind of treat my Star Wars ranking kind of like the DCU ranking. Like my top 3 can interchange at any given point, but they're arguably like my favorites, and any
I
one
think
of them
the best made of the films, if I had to pick one from each, it would have to be Empire, Revenge of the Sith, Force Awakens,
which are my top 3. So
those are the best of each
trilogy. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because with Revenge of the Sith, I like the tone, but I also thought that George kind of got back into filmmaking at that point in time and really understood what the fuck he was doing. The first 2, he was just sort of like fumbling about.
Well, we've talked about it before. Like he did that trilogy. He kind of worked his way backwards a little bit, because he knew where he was going by the end game, but he didn't quite get the first 2 steps.
He should have taken a back seat and not directed.
I can understand that.
And he did try. He went to SAG. He tried to get Ron Howard. He tried to convince Steven to make a film, because Steven wanted to make Revenge of the Jedi at the time, but Steven was interested in that film. But he was like, nope. Yeah. But he was like, nope, we do Indiana Jones. So that was but that was back in the 80s. And by the time in the 90s came around, he was like, he wanted him to direct Phantom Menace. And
could you imagine like a Steven Spielberg directed Phantom Menace?
Oh, dude, it would have been totally different.
It would have been a very different movie.
It would have been a very different movie, and it would have been, I think, better. I think it would have been a lot better. Because George is a great visual technical director, and with him being there, just sort of the sidelines. But the thing is with Spielberg, they're sort of colleagues in that. And Irving Kershner was his teacher,
right?
So he respected him just because that was his teacher, and that's why it's a better movie than Star Wars. And then with the next guy, I forgot, Marquand. They had issues.
Richard Marquand. There we go.
And they had problems with the actors, and him, and they just didn't get along, and so George kind of stepped in and helped direct it a little bit more than he was supposed to or was going to. But okay, cool.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I had every single one of them, but here we go. These three are all interchangeable.
Sure.
I love Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. All can be at the top at any given time. And first Star Wars, Episode 1, I really like Episode 1 a lot. Rogue One, Solo, I think it's not enough credit. Attack of the Clones is down there at the bottom of the prequels.
It's easily the weakest of the prequel trilogy.
Yes.
Easily.
And then the sequels.
Sequel trilogy, right. And ironically, the same order that I would rank the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, The Last Jedi is just the most.
It's the most divisive one.
It looks beautiful, but it's ILM. But it makes the least amount of Star Wars sense. Sure. I think that when he was making it, he was trying so hard to sort of break the mold of what he was trying to deconstruct something that really didn't need to be deconstructed. And,
you know what else we should do? We should also do one for Jurassic World and Jurassic Park too.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one that might
Jurassic World and Jurassic Park. I did see the last one. I did.
You saw Dominion, okay.
Mm-hmm.
This one might piss off some people. Here's my Spider-Man ranking.
No,
Spider-Man 2? No.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The other Spider-Man 2 is better.
Sense. That makes total sense for you.
For you, yes, because you make no sense. But Spider-Man,
I make all the sense, Brian.
Let me pull up mine. Mine might actually.
Wow, you people. Put the okay. I don't know, man.
Mine very well might piss off some people.
What's that one? Oh, okay, No Way Home. Okay, and okay, that's fine. It's hard to rank those, man, because I really love the Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse.
I really do too. That. Like for me, it's great. All good until you get to No Way Home. I mean, No Way Home's not even terrible.
You mean Far From Home?
Far From Home. Yeah, Far From Home. Sorry, Far From Home.
Yeah, sorry. Far From Home wasn't great, but I do love the visuals with Gyllenhaal at the end.
Yes,
when he's fucking with Spider-Man, I love that. I was like that kind of sequence or that kind of interaction should be what the Scarecrow does to Batman.
Far From Home is, I think, again, like when you look at it from like a trilogy perspective, it's the weakest one of the bunch, sure, but it has like some of the best Mysterios I've seen in live action. Yeah. And again, there's not a bar there because the Mysterio has not been done in live action up until that movie. So yeah, it's really, there's not really a bar to gauge from, but even still, like if you're a Spider-Man fan, Mysterio, it's like, yeah, that was fucking perfect. Like everything they did with Mysterio as far as like how he operates and how his, moveset works, like that was all top notch, but mine might actually piss some people off.
The only thing I didn't like about it, I understood it, but I didn't like the drones.
Fair. That's fair.
So that's the only part I didn't like about Mysterio. Okay. No, I agree with your first two. I like the Amazing Spider-Man, but I have more sentimental value for the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Understandable. And I think for me, the reason I have Amazing over the first one is because Amazing Spider-Man pulls a lot from Ultimate Spider-Man, which I'm very, very familiar with, and I dig that run of Spider-Man quite a fair bit. So to see that version of Spider-Man get done in live action, it was very reassuring to me. And I honestly, like Spider-Man 2, without question, is like both of my number one and my number two I could change on any given point, because in my opinion they are the best Spider-Man films without question. Like Spider-Man 2 is without a doubt one of the best superhero comic book films ever made, bar none.
And
Alfred Molina is just fucking top notch as Dr. Octopus,
and he's great in No Way Home.
Yes,
again, with my own ranking, like again, I absolutely agree with that. I just put favorites over quality.
I think for me, it's harder for Spider-Man because I've got such a huge affinity for Spider-Man and Batman. So like the favorite and best thing, it just gets meshed together a little too much.
I mean, why did you put Spider-Man 3 on the list? Everybody puts it at the end.
It's either that or Amazing 2 most of the time, depending on who you're talking to.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
Oh, that's funny. People would probably lambaste me for having the first one in that third slot down there at the bottom, I'm sure. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Now, when Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out, I am very curious to see where that ranking will change. Like
whenever that happens.
Exactly. Like whenever that happens.
That'll
right?
probably, I mean, hopefully, because I think it's just going to come to a head and it's going to be something like mind blowing.
I hope so. I mean, if they stick the landing, it could arguably one of the best comic book trilogies of all time.
Sure.
It'll be in that conversation, I bet. They just got to stick the landing with it. I'm they're 2 for 2 for me. So I don't know.
Very true.
We'll see what happens.
Doing a good job so far. I appreciate it, Andrew. And Andrew just said, I saw Dune Part 2 in IMAX and I loved it. Same for me, man.
We love that.
Good.
We love seeing that.
Yes. I think Dune was the most recent review that the only review I've done in a while.
So I think the next film on the docket for us at that point would be Godzilla X Kong.
Oh, yeah.
That's the next one on the docket for us nerds to go check out, if I'm not mistaken.
I saw the trailer and I'm just so I'm at odds with it because it's just so it's weird, but it's like maybe fun. I don't know. It's kind of weird because I love Godzilla -1. That was like,
I think had that film not come out, people would probably be a little bit more like, oh yeah, we'll go see Godzilla X Kong. But now that Godzilla -1 is in the ether, people are like, yeah, I like that Godzilla.
Yeah,
that Godzilla. On the other hand, people are kind of like, probably after Godzilla versus Kong. So it's once Godzilla -1 entered the conversation, things changed for the MonsterVerse more or less.
Yeah,
I can agree with that. Again, I still really want to see Godzilla -1, and I want to see it in
black. You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't.
One of the best films of 2023, without question.
Man.
I keep hearing that, and I believe it. I just need to see it. I just haven't taken the time.
You need to see it to believe it.
Ryan saw that over Aquaman.
I did.
I still haven't seen Aquaman either.
I haven't seen that either. But I did see Godzilla because that's again one of those movies I need to see on the big screen.
Yeah. And I meant to. I don't even know what the heck happened.
Godzilla -1.
You were too busy watching Wonka.
Was the first time in a long time where I was in a theater that was full. Yeah.
That was the same thing for Dune Part 2. Those stacked theater.
Yeah.
But
that doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah.
But with that, we just reached the 2-hour mark where we like to cut things off conversation-wise.
We did. We appreciate everybody for tuning in and weighing in, letting us know your thoughts on everything we've been talking about.
And telling us how we're wrong.
Yes. No, dude, that's what we're all about. We're all about people telling us that we are wrong. And we're cool with that because we don't care. It's cool.
I don't give a crap.
But yeah,
we can agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
No, we can't, Phil. We have to argue. This is what these shows are for.
Look, if Ryan and I can have a civil discussion about the rise of Skywalker, then anyone on the internet can have a civil discussion about fucking anything.
I felt so bad for Lando. It's like, bro, I love you. Sorry, man.
I feel bad you didn't like the movie as much as I did.
But, heal the worm? Yes, somehow I healed the wormer.
Somehow
Palpatine
returned.
It is. It's somehow you fucking fixed the Millennium Falcon. Somehow you fucking got out of this mess. It's always somehow with Rey, and I hate that. It just needs to be better. They need to write her better.
And
if her next outing or feature or whatever, they write her character better, I'll be happy. If it's still failing upward, I'll be like, well, you're still a piece of shit character. So
I'm still glad Colin Trevorrow didn't handle that movie.
That was weird because Daisy Ridley said that he pulled her aside, talked to her about how he was going to end, and she teared up. So I'm like, what the fuck did you tell her? She never would elaborate on that.
You know what? I saw snippets of his script and I was like, this ain't it, Chief.
Oh, the Duel of the Fates? Or
yeah,
oh,
that.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, bro, no. Let's not do that movie. And they didn't. And I was like, thank you, Lucasfilm. Who loves it when people say I kind of do sometimes. Yeah, maybe I do.
Oh man. But with that, Ryan, you had some to show on your update for your comic.
Yeah. So I'm working on the comic as you guys know, and I've gotten to the stage where I'm doing my balloon bubbles, and I'm piecing out the dialogue right now and just trying to make it fit in the screen and not impede on the artwork that I have. So doing all that right now, and then I'll put the bubbles in, and then I'll start flatten, and then all the colors will be added, and then I'll add the visual effects and everything, and good to go. But I appreciate everybody that stops by my Instagram, drops me a line, leaves me a like, all that kind of stuff. It's very encouraging, and I appreciate it. So if this is it's a passion project of mine, this is just one of the pages that I decided to share. But I have a lot of other artwork. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Zeeverfett, and so that's pretty much what I've got going on. I'm pretty excited about it, and I should be complete with it within maybe a couple months.
He's
nice.
also got a
perspective on the car on the bottom right panel. The perspective on that car is really good.
You know what? When I was drawing this, I wanted to give that feel of like you're watching a film.
Yeah.
And so I was always like, well, I can look at this side of the car, and as you can tell, they're two distinctly different types of vehicles because of the angular versus the more curved squad car.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, these guys are in like a SUV, and these guys are in a. These guys, I'm looking at it. These guys are in an SUV, and then these guys are in a regular patrol car, which is right here.
Nice.
But yeah, so I'm pretty satisfied with it, and I'm enjoying the process. Man, it's pretty cool.
Looking good there, Chief.
But yeah, no, I appreciate everybody that has followed me and dropped a line, and it's great, encouraging. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the comic right now. If you want to find out more, hit me up and let me know. Let me know what you think. So
and hey,
awesome.
Props to our buddy Nerd Coast Roast for constantly sharing our stuff and making it.
No,
we really appreciate
on there
that
as well, man. Sean's great.
Definitely, Sean's a great dude.
Yeah,
much appreciated.
Absolutely, much appreciated. Absolutely. Speaking of artwork, I actually just started putting some of my work on TikTok Shop. So it's like a little avenue that people can shop for things on TikTok right there.
Nice.
Slowly adding more things. I'm adding some of the original pieces that I'm doing. And one piece that I actually did and finished the inking for today is I'm doing a series of the Avatar Last Airbender characters.
Yeah. Did you see they announced season 2 and 3 for that Netflix show?
I did see that.
I haven't watched it yet.
I tried to watch it, and I had to stop when the little kid, I forget his name.
Aang.
Is it Aang or Ong?
Aang. It's Aang. Don't say Ong again.
Is it Ong? Am I wrong when I say Ong?
Ong is how it was pronounced in the Shyamalan movie.
And you don't want to summon the wrath of Avatar Last Airbender fans by mentioning anything related to the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
I.e. Dawson.
I did that on purpose. So I kind of quit watching when he went to the waterbenders area, and then he was like calling out for his flying buddy bison. Yeah, the sky bison. And I was like, okay, when he saw the sky bison, he was just a little too happy, and I was like, that's too much. I was like, all right, I'll watch this later.
The thing for people is that if you have a hard time with inexperienced child acting, this might be hard for you to sit through, just because there is plenty of that.
Yes.
It's a mixed bag. As a big fan of the animated series, like there's good and bad in this live action version. It's definitely better than M. Night Shyamalan's movie by far, but still has plenty of issues. Mm-hmm. But because we're watching this live action one along with the animated version, just to kind of see the things they've changed, and also just because we were in the middle of watching the animated version anyway, doing a series of pieces of different characters. So we got Aang right here. Yeah. And he's going to be in front of a air nomad symbol. So we're going to do that. And then that's all scanned, or it'll be scanned after we get off here tonight. And I did this one today. This is Zuko.
Yep.
Again, a little Zuko with a little fire there. And you'll be able to see the full scans. And again, a lot of these original pieces will be available for purchase on TikTok Shop. And of course, I'll be digitally coloring them and adding them as prints onto my website, DJWart.com, as well as on TikTok Shop as well. And they'll be available with me at conventions. I'm trying to figure out if I should do them as 11x17 prints or all of them as 8x10, so they're small and they can be put into a collage. That might be what I end up doing.
Take your favorites, make them 11x17. Take the more small scale stuff and make that 8x10.
Yeah,
that's my opinion,
and that's my thought process too. But like when you have prints like the Avatar gang, like they kind of go together. So like you may want to have them smaller so they can go together and have more of a place on the wall. But again, I'm still kind of feeling that out a little bit. And
just for the record, I really do love being your Peter Safran, your James Gunn.
Yes, it's appreciated.
More vibrant, more colors. Keep
more. We say more. I said more, not turquoise. If anyone can name that movie,
those sideburns, Smithers.
Yes, Smithers.
Oh man.
Excellent.
But yeah, be sure to go check that stuff out. DJWArt.com as well as DJW_art at TikTok and TikTok Shop. And also shirts from Zeeverfett. And be sure to go check out TeePublic, mate.
TeePublic.
And then Phil, check out The Eternal Night. As well as, I mean, have you planned the next episode for your DC United channel or?
I have not. That channel has kind of died on the vine, if I'm being brutally honest with you guys. I mean, shit. It you know, it just kind of died right there.
How?
So.
Wait, it couldn't have died. It's eternal.
Yeah. But you know, Dawson did mention Eternal Night. I actually did just put up an episode on Sunday, a red and black edition, not safe for work episode about the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. We're kind of testing the waters on you know, kind of stepping outside of Batman, not all the time, but just, you know, putting stuff out there, since Batman news is for the most part kind of dry for the moment.
Yeah.
Also, you mentioned conventions. Anyone who knows or has been paying attention, I'm going to Boston in 2 weeks. And nice. I am going to be attending the Penny Arcade Expo. It's basically like a Comic Con, but more or less it's a con for video games. There's going to be a lot of publishers there. There's going to be a lot of developers, a bunch of panels, and a bunch of like big name games and stuff. Like there's going to be a Final Fantasy 16 panel from Square there. Pokemon's going to have a presentation, or not a presentation, but they're going to have presence there, is what I meant to say. Yeah. Here's where I'm asking everyone who's following, please, with your kindness of your heart, I'd really appreciate it. Did my taxes a couple weeks ago, and I was banking on my return to come in, and it has not. I got off the phone with the IRS yesterday, and they said it could take up to 10 weeks to process my shit. So I am asking y'all, from the kindness of your hearts, if you can, like, share, and donate to either my PayPal or my Venmo to help me, you know, get Ubers and food and stuff while I'm there in Boston. It would be greatly appreciated. Not that I can't pay for this stuff when I'm there. It would just greatly help. So if anyone feels compelled to help me out, feel free to.
There you go. There's your link.
There's my PayPal right there. And then I'll leave that up there for a second. And then I'll also pull up my Venmo, which is right here. It did not share.
That's PayPal.
That's still PayPal.
It's the same thing.
Hold on.
You lied to me.
Let me pull up the Venmo real quick.
Yeah, help him out. Help him to get there. I wish that I would have like known about like Comic Cons in that area, or like, because again, that's closer to me than you ever are in California.
For sure.
But
then here's my Venmo. There's Venmo. It'd be, again, just greatly appreciated if you guys don't have to donate, but like and share. It's on my threads. It's on my Instagram. There are posts on there. I'm usually sharing them in my story every now and again, but it'd just be greatly appreciated. That's all I ask. So, you know, if you do, great. Again, you know, I've gotten a couple donations already. I greatly appreciate anyone and everyone who has donated. I really do want to. I'm going to Boston. Like that's happening for sure. But like any bit that helps is just fantastic. But yeah. Awesome. Other than that, I got really nothing else in the fire. I'm trying to get something else going for a Pokemon type of deal, but you know, we'll see if I actually go forward and make a channel on that. It's just more about like drive and time, energy, effort, and things like that. But we'll see what happens. Maybe after I get back from PAX, I'll be a little more focused in that respect. Yeah.
Well, I hope you have a fun time there, man. I mean, I've never been to like a game expo myself, but like, I mean, just knowing the amount of Comic Cons I've been to, it sounds like it'll be a fun time. So,
well, my plan is to go there and represent the 4Nerds, right? Because
you've got a hat.
I do. I have a hat. I have a T-shirt, right? Like
I still don't have a hat.
Ryan gave me one when we saw the Flash. So
yeah. You had to be there. You had to be there because I also gave Andre a hat.
Exclusive.
You know,
I mean, it's all about exclusives.
Yeah,
man.
You know, there's a lot of there's not a lot of AAA, but there's going to be a few AAA titles and developers. There's going to be a lot of smaller, you know, publishers and stuff there too. I just really want to go and like see what it's all about, because I've never been to a video game convention, so this will be my first time going. It's like from the 21st to the 24th of March.
Nice.
So just a little under 2 weeks from now. So yeah, I'll be going there. I might do some live streams on Instagram while I'm on the floor or something. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm definitely banking on just having a good time, seeing what the video game atmosphere is like, because you know, we talk a lot about movies and cartoons and animation, comic book stuff here. We don't really touch on video games that much. Not to say that we should, but it's just, you know, it's a corner of.
I'm playing Helldivers too.
How is that? A lot of my friends are playing that, and they're saying it's fun as fuck.
It's fun as fuck.
I'm currently playing.
You got fucking hordes that are chasing your ass, and then you got your friends that, like, if you don't plan it right, they'll fucking land on you and kill you because they have little pods. and it's a fun.
I
game.
will, Paula.
Fun
Thank
game.
you. I've heard good things about
highly
Helldivers too.
Mhm.
I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I love the Final Fantasy franchise personally. Like that game specifically has a pretty special place in my heart. Final Fantasy VII was one of the first games I ever played, and I've been following the remake project since they did the first part, and now they've released part 2, which is like the bigger portion of the map where everyone wants to get to, and I'm like into chapter 4, so like right as you get to Junon, for anyone who's familiar with that. But yeah, you know, if you guys have ever played Final Fantasy VII, it's Cloud Strife, the big guy with the big sword, Buster Sword, materia, all that fun shit.
Meanwhile, I'm playing Minecraft on the Nintendo Switch and still trying to work my way through God of War 1.
Still on Minecraft?
So you're totally gonna go see the Minecraft movie then?
Nope.
Okay, for sure.
I just do creative mode just to build and get my creative energy out whenever like I'm hitting a drawing block. That's,
you know what? At least
how
it's
many
not Fortnite.
castles have you built?
Castles 1, football stadiums 1, a bunch of houses, and a bunch of farms. I'm building out just a legit city.
Ugar was the same.
I'm just, dude, F you, man. Seriously.
Jesus Christ.
Like, no, I'm just building out a village. That's all I do is I just build villages. Like, I'll find a little village and I'll expand it and just make it like more legitimate thing. Just to.
I've also been playing a lot of Pokemon lately too, but then again, that's no
okay.
surprise.
Yeah.
It's no surprise here. I love Pokemon.
Yeah.
No,
No
that's true. He does.
I do. I very much do. Yes.
But with that, guys, once again, we appreciate you guys tuning in and shooting the breeze with us. We hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you guys next time. I don't think there's anything that would really be getting in the way of that show happening, but with that,
we'll see if anything happens. We'll see if anything pops up in the news. We'll pop.
Oh yeah, we'll have to talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
We'll see you guys next time.